All right, we should be live. We'll get some music going.
That doesn't sound good.
Is that a child?
What else would it be?
I mean,
A
is
dinosaur?
Brad here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't have my window open.
Oh, you can't. Oh, you can't see that Brad popped in.
Yeah. Last week's playlist, okay. Pull that up. All right. And then get this ready.
Do you remember where we left off, Chris?
I think we stopped at south of midnight, but we jumped over Avowed. Oh,
Yeah,
Sounds
back up.
right.
I guess back up to Avowed, then I don't know. I didn't really put the Nintendo stuff on here because I didn't really know how to. You know, last time you were like, save it for the show. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it'd be better if we did podcast instead for that.
I mean, it's awkward either way.
Yeah.
But
Hey, doing this late night shader? Oh, wait, not that. This, then that.
We can see your Discord.
I know. All right, let me get this set up. And then share this. Okay, and we can basically start Trailer Talk whenever you want.
well, go.
Okay.
But we're going. Okay.
All right. Let me know if you actually
Nick
hear.
don't want to
audio.
go.
My audio is
No,
a
it's
little
fine.
low.
I'm just really, really low energy. All right.
All right. All right. Here we go.
Wait, what? I don't think we
What?
started with Stalker. I thought you said we were going to start with Avowed.
Oh well, hang on.
Wow.
There we go.
Wow.
All right. Shut the fuck up, Brad. All right. Are you getting
I
audio?
can't hear anything. No.
I can't hear it.
Okay.
What about chat?
Something is funky with my audio. Hang on a sec. I can't get Firefox output to my headset, and I don't know what's going on.
First of all, Nightshader, I have coffee, but unfortunately, I'm trying decaf for the first time.
What does that mean? Why are you grimacing?
Because I'm drinking coffee because I really want coffee because I feel really sleepy, but I'm drinking decaf because I don't think I've been sleeping very well.
Does it taste worse?
Not worse. It's just more of I know it's not going to have the desired effect, which is to give me some energy.
Well, I mean, maybe try half calf.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Wait, what is there's a half calf?
Yeah.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah.
I mean, right now I'm doing an experiment to see if the coffee is in fact it's weird. It's like I get a full 8 hours of sleep at night, and I feel like I slept like a log, but I still feel super fucking tired in the morning. So I'm doing an experiment, and I'm trying to eliminate coffee for my night coffee.
Wait,
Yes,
you
we are
sleep like
live.
you sleep like a log for 8 hours and you're still feeling tired?
Yeah.
Do you
What's up? Yeah, no, we're live. Sorry.
do you wait 90
you're good.
minutes to drink your coffee in the morning?
Do I wait? What?
Can't.
Do you wait 90 minutes before drinking your coffee in the morning?
I don't start drinking coffee until I get to work, which I suppose is about 90 minutes. Where's the 90 minutes coming from?
Does that wake you up? Well, I hear it's more effective if you wait a little bit before you start drinking it.
Yeah, I would say it's about 90 minutes between when I wake up and when I get to work.
I'd also say that, Nick, similar to what you were, I kind of came in the middle of the conversation, but I've kind of stopped drinking caffeine past 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit earlier, and I will say that I feel like I do get a lot better rest.
That's good to know. That's good to know.
But I mean, you're saying you don't even wake up. I wonder if you're like tossing and turning and don't even realize it.
I mean, it's possible. Definitely possible. What's
Some
up,
audio.
Niles TV? And
Wait,
Zlade and King
audio?
Carey. No, I don't have
Chat
any.
getting anything? Maybe just restart your browser.
I mean, it was doing this when I reset my computer the other day.
Oh.
It's doing it again.
Oh,
so
so
I'm trying to
so.
figure out.
Did you check the sound mixer?
Yeah. Yeah, it's going out to the right thing. And when I do an audio test, it works fine. But Firefox won't output the audio. So let
Why don't
me
you try Chrome?
Yeah,
How much you want to bet it was booting up Audacity and then booting up Discord and all that shit, and it just fucked it.
I don't have
Shit always
Audacity
happens.
open. I only
Oh,
have
okay,
OBS.
whatever sound you got shit running that uses your inputs.
All right, get out. Let me plug in the mic.
Hang tight, everybody. What's up, Skipster?
We can see your browser, by the way.
Stream can't.
Oh, the stream count. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Wait, no, we didn't do Slitterhead either. Wow, you were just gonna skip over Slitterhead.
We did Slitterhead. We talked about that.
We did talk about Slitterhead.
We didn't watch the footage.
We were in
kind
kind of a
with Doom.
We were in kind of a rush last week because there were so many trailers, and
No, I know we're continuing, and right, we didn't actually watch any Slitterhead.
we did. I remember watching the trailer and talking about how bad I thought it looked, and then you telling me that and then you
We
calling
definitely
me out for.
talked about it, but I
And then
don't
you
think we
said
watched the
something
trailer.
something Prince of Persia something.
No, well, I mean, sure, but again, I think you're referencing the podcast conversation. I think we ended with Doom or South of Midnight,
Okay. You
but
heard
we
that,
we,
right?
we were definitely skipping around stuff.
I don't hear anything. Well,
Okay,
all I
hang
see is your Firefox.
All right. Well,
Try
I'm
playing
sorry.
something
Hang
else.
on. I'm working on it.
Do
I'm
something else
working
again.
on it. Calm your tits. All right. Where's my fucking Chrome? Okay.
All right, I'm watching. Let's see what happens.
Block. All right.
Yeah, I hear it. Yay!
Sorry.
Lands. That wild frontier suffers from the dream scourge. Find the root of this
who's gonna
terrible
play a Avowed
plague
here?
and put an end to
It
it.
depends on when it comes out.
He is wrong.
I made the decision today that I'm going to take the
dream
entire
scourge
week
is but
of
a symptom
September
of a
6th
deeper,
off.
more dangerous.
What is
What's
that?
that day?
Go. Tame
September
the
6th
chaos
is
that
basically,
plagues the living lands, so that those who remain standing
more or less.
can
It's like
shake
right after the
this
release of Star Wars Outlaws, which I'll still be playing.
We're
And then
both
there's
deceived you.
Astrobot,
There is
Stalker
more
2,
wonder in this
Space
world
Marine
than
2,
eyes alone
and that new
can
Zelda
see.
game, all coming out in the same week.
You must open yourself
So definitely
to
not
those
Avowed.
days.
Okay.
No. I was just like, if they announce Avowed coming out that week, fuck it, I'm definitely not playing it.
And become what the living lands truly needs.
Yeah, I feel like this doesn't show well in trailers, but I feel like
Its
no Elder
protector.
Scrolls or anything has. Really,
Are we officially starting? Is this happening?
Yeah.
I think this is trailer talk.
Okay, yeah. It was so seamless. We just welcome to trailer talk. Let's do it. I don't know. I think this trailer was probably the best one they've done so far. It's definitely the one that makes me the most interested in playing it, and I can't really put my finger on why. I guess it's just, I don't know. Seems like the most actiony, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't put my finger on it. I think it made the world look the nicest, and that the combat looked fun. I think before that it looked kind of blah.
I think the problem is that it needs like a dedicated, no interruptions gameplay demonstration.
Yeah, and I don't know if we're gonna get that. Well, I guess
I mean, they've certainly done that. They did that at the beginning of the year.
have they?
Yeah.
Well, no, but
maybe
there were a lot of cuts in there. That's what I'm saying.
No. I mean, but it was definitely a deep dive. They definitely showed a lot of gameplay, a ton of gameplay.
Well, they did a bad job of giving the impression of combat stuff.
Avowed is so
That was the
sweet.
one
We're
thing it
talking
did.
about Stalker 2 now.
No. The one thing it went deep on was combat mechanics. So I think you probably didn't watch it.
Why am I seeing subtitles? Or
I'm trying to turn them on for English.
oh, why are we're watching the?
On the stream, I don't see anything.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I clicked into YouTube again. Alright, well, whatever. We'll watch it without the subtitles. Don't exactly need it.
This game looks very good, but I also do think we need to get a solid chunk of just gameplay of this. Although there have been multiple previews coming out of Summer Game Fest, and that a lot of which seems to be very positive.
Yes.
By the way, I pulled up trailer talk from last week when we went from Doom to South of Midnight. So I know you don't want to see that beautiful Slitterhead, Nick, but we're gonna watch it after this.
Okay, fine. I don't know why you're calling me out specifically about Slitterhead, but whatever. This game looks cool.
Yeah.
Well,
I wanna-
you're just the only one who said anything about Slitterhead. No one else here cares about Slitterhead.
We're talking about
Why?
Stalker.
I mean, I would be totally cool if we skipped Slitterhead, whatever.
Yeah, I know,
Anyways.
but I wanna show Slitterhead because I think it looks talk aboutable.
Talk aboutable. Okay, well, so does Stalker 2. Stalker 2 looks talk aboutable as well.
Yeah, but we know what a Stalker game is.
Do we though? This is not. I mean, I guess we know what a Stalker game is, but like, what does a modern Stalker game look like? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when
Especially
did the
for
last
a
Stalker?
completely different developer.
When did the last Stalker game come out?
2010.
Yeah, it's been 14 years.
When did the last Slitterhead game come out?
Fuck you.
Oh,
Whenever the last Silent Hill game came from the original Team Silent, I suppose.
You might as well
you know-
consider Stalker 2 to be a new IP, considering the development.
You know, I'm gonna say this: Stalker 2. If anything was gonna slip out of that super crowded early September week, I could see them pushing Stalker 2 just to get away from all that other junk. Oh,
I'll
now
go
we're
to
watching
Slitterhead after this.
Phantom Blade Zero, which is in fact a video game apparently. And you know what? We now live in
I don't know why the Keeleys ended with this. That was a little weird, but
I mean, because honestly, it's maybe the most visually impressive thing they could have shown,
yeah,
and a lot of what they showed before that was maybe not super impressive.
yeah, I think it probably has more to do with
Money.
maybe this publisher paid big.
That's definitely possible. Hey, we live in a post-Stellar Blade world now, so I suddenly believe in the quality of Korean action games.
This is actually Chinese developed.
Fuck.
But,
Well, I tried. Okay.
Cancel Nick again.
but I heard good things from people who played it at SGS. Sounded like it was pretty cool. There was also a big preview embargo lifted for the monkey game. the Journey to the West game.
Wukong.
Wukong.
Black Myth.
Evidently, the
Positive.
developer is
See, this
problematic.
knife feet pretty cool. I like knife feet.
Who doesn't like knife feet?
Sword feet, maybe. It looks good. This looks like the kind of game I like. So, no, I think
It looks
this
better than Rise of the Ronin, am I right?
It looks better than I think it probably looks better than Wukong. In my
Wait,
opinion. It looks more like a video game I'd play than Wukong. Wukong I heard is like a ton of just let it roll. He'll figure it out. He'll figure this out one of these days. This is Demon School. This finally got a release date. This shit looks pretty cool. It's an indie like. I mean, it's very Persona, right, with the setting and stuff.
Do I see a grid-based tactics game?
But it's like got grid-based tactics, and like the twist with the grid-based tactics is you kind of like move all your pieces, and then everybody goes at once. So you're like the whole point is to like set up a combo for your whole team, and then they kind of move in. It seems pretty cool.
Seems neat. Got a cool style.
But that was a very quick trailer. So
Fuck. That's also in the week of September 6th,
yeah.
more or less. It has fishing. It has fishing confirmed. Here we go. Slitterhead.
I mean,
Look.
if we watch this, maybe we watched it the week before, but I looked and we definitely didn't watch it last week.
Well, look. We can watch it. Whatever. We can watch it again. I don't know how to feel about this game because I feel like I should be really excited about it, considering it's from the creator of Silent Hill.
No, but he's worked on other. I mean, look, it's janky. It looks like janky bullshit, so it's not like it's a surprise.
It's got
that
dismembered.
like, I don't know about
it's
this
a trash
one.
can.
It looks like janky fucking PS2 bullshit. I'm not surprised. You're
you know what this
kinda,
looks like? This looks
but
like.
it also looks wild.
It does look
This
wild.
looks
It does
cool.
look wild.
I mean, I get like this is somewhere in between like it's Watch Dogs as possession game.
Oh my god, it is Watch Dogs.
Watch.
No. Look. This is a combination. This looks to me like a combination between Watch Dogs, Sleeping Dogs, and what's the fucking game? Why am I blanking?
Some PS2 action game.
Nintendo.
No, the Tango GameWorks game that. Why can I not think of the fucking title?
Ghostware's Tokyo.
I mean, it reminds me of
Tokyo.
Galarians or something. Some fucking old ass action game, action
Although
RPG.
the one shot of the kid opening his red eyes like that was kind of Galarians.
So yeah, I mean that's what I mean. So like this janky like action combat, I get it. Like this ain't your flavor, but like the truth is, if this studio was just putting out like another horror game that looks like Silent Hill, like so many horror games,
I mean, yes, it'd be
that
disappointing.
come out, like it would just be a low budget janky Silent Hill. And do we need a low budget janky Silent Hill? I'd rather have a low budget janky game where your arm gets cut off and then you like grab it back on. You know, look at this shit. It's like Spider-Man meets Third Birthday. What is going on here?
He's a puppy.
If a game is going to be janky budget bullshit, I'd rather it be like weird and
You're
crazy,
not
some
wrong.
shit like I've never seen before, right?
You're not wrong. Look, listen. I'm interested in playing this game,
Product
but I am
not yet
very
ready.
much like waiting for reviews on this one. Like I just
Of
want to.
course. I mean, this is like a rental or a hope
Yeah.
it's on Game Pass kind of thing. I get it, but you know, it's much more interesting than yet another game that's trying to be Silent Hill, even if it's from the original Silent Hill creation.
I didn't really necessarily want them to do another game that made me think of Silent Hill, but I don't know. When I heard they were making another game, that is not what I was picturing, and now that it's coming, I just don't know how I feel about it. But
The creator
I'm
of
open
Silent
to
Hill
it.
did Siren after Silent Hill, which is, you know, just so many horror games are that.
That's fair. Okay, what is this game called again?
Expedition 33 Clara Obscura.
This is a game that like I really didn't care about watching this trailer until they got to the gameplay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know
Like,
why-
What they're proposing with this narrative is really exciting.
Break the cycle, so she can't steal any.
Yeah, so I think the reason we're getting deja vu on all these trailers is because we're in the Xbox showcase stuff, which we commentated. That's probably why we're getting deja vu. But the combat is a turn-based RPG. It looks like Lost Odyssey or something.
I mean,
Look at
this
this shit.
They don't make games
fucking
like
wild.
this anymore. This does look
Shadow
really.
Art.
Look at that look at that UI. Like what the
Why
fuck?
does the main guy
great.
look like Robert Pattinson?
Does he?
Yes.
Wait, that guy? The guy with the mustache?
Yeah.
Is he
Like
specific?
House Robert Pattinson.
He specifically looks like Robert Pattinson from the. Oh my god, he does!
He does look like Robert.
I'm not crazy.
He's French Robert Pattinson. This is a French developed game. Hey, I'm down for anyone making a JRPG looking fucking Lost Odyssey looking thing.
Yeah, I'm really happy for Chris Davis because this feels like a game made to like satisfy Chris Davis's desire for a sequel to Lost Odyssey.
Edition 33.
And that's cool.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be that, but
It's probably
You know,
not
the
going to be
UI
that, but
reminds
hey,
me of
it
it.
gives the vibes, and that makes me happy.
And it's got Ben Starr, which is that's good.
Here is what I learned during my years as a
now we got some indie games that look cool. I just kind of
Where was this shown?
threw
Did I
some
forget
on
this?
here
not
that
every door opens with a key.
This is shown at one of the dozen different
you just
showcases.
Oh,
did.
yeah.
This was Day of the Dead. I don't think you watched.
Dude, I started going through like the E3 recap site, and there's just so many. Oh my god, there's so many.
Yeah,
It's a
but there-
flood.
this is like a point and click adventure game, but that's such a cool art style.
It does have a really cool art style. Holy shit.
Never forget that even the right leads.
Yeah, I'm into this shit.
This looks like some
Shit,
fucked up
rotoscope
horror. Is
shit.
this got some horror shit going on?
Yeah, it's like Silent
Seems
Hill.
like it.
Shut
Fuck
up,
you,
shut
Nick.
up.
I don't know.
Phoenix Springs. I mean, I'm definitely into that. That's God. What is with September? What is going on in September?
It's fucktember.
Shit will get delayed. Don't worry, shit will get delayed. This is another one that from also Day of the Devs, I believe, that had a cool art style. Cool. Vibe.
Hey, look, it's got some horror shit going on. This looks like some cyberpunk horror, or what do you want to call it? Like a Blade Runner-esque horror.
Indeed it does.
Grab my coffee.
Holy God, that man's on fire.
I'm into it. That's cool. I think this game's out now,
Chroma?
actually. This one has a fucking Nolan will pop for this art style. I love the way this game looks.
This looks like fucking like
It looks like fucking Mega Man Legends.
Yeah. This is from the developer of Unsighted.
What?
Yeah.
I loved Unsighted.
Yeah.
You have my full attention, dude. I'm into
I
this.
don't care if this game is good. Look at this. I just want to watch trailers of it. Look at this shit.
It looks like a really crisp PS1 game.
Oh,
I love
I
it.
would've-
It looks
so
like
bad.
Mega Man Legends.
Yeah, it looks like Mega Man Legends. But no PS1 game would look this good. But
No.
Yeah, it's definitely cribbing that art style for sure.
Yeah.
I absolutely love this game. Unfortunately, I don't know how soon this is, but I mean, damn.
Full of
I said hot diggity dog.
What the fuck? That's cool.
I kind of digging the soundtrack too. Jesus. Sign me up.
Yeah, no, it looks
think this
really
was
fucking good.
How big is this game? It seems like there's a lot. We're seeing a decent amount of scenes.
Abyss
X0?
X0.
Or is it just called Abyss Zero?
Might be.
Cross
That is
Zero.
Or do you pronounce the X? Yeah. Cross
I'll
Zero?
check Steam real quick and see what it's listed under.
Are you okay?
Here's the Fear the Spotlight trailer. This is one of the Blumhouse ones, but
It is Abyss X0.
I think this one was
Yeah,
actually
it's totally
playable at SGF. I heard it was pretty cool.
I hope the board looks as creepy as I imagine. Let's go.
So one of the thing about I noticed about these Blumhouse games is I feel like they're gonna
We
get
seek the
actual
realm of the
good quality
undefined.
voice acting instead of just a bunch of note reading,
Oh yeah.
Don't worry, Viv.
which I'm into.
If any ghosts actually show up, I'll protect you.
Abyss X0 is a 3D Metroidvania?
What? Is that what it describes it as?
Yes.
Yeah,
Free
it's like 3D on site.
Metroidvania.
Explore an expansive world in this 3D Metroidvania? Holy fucking shit.
Alright, well now I'm very interested.
Hello?
Slap my ass and call me Susie. I'm playing that.
Amy!
Are any of the Blumhouse games coming out this year?
Viv.
I don't I don't think any of that looks creepy as
I
shit.
don't think they specified.
No matter what.
So,
Just
real quick,
looks-
is this like a straight up like classic
Don't
survival
worry,
horror?
From what I understand, yeah.
Might be.
Going to be spectacular.
What do you mean? What is classic survival
I'm
horror?
happy.
Fear
here.
the spotlight.
So
Hell yeah. I mean, I saw some weird puzzles. I don't know, it just reminded me of like Resident Evil.
All right, this is the last one.
I wanted
Anything
to
of
feature
Eternal
this
Darkness?
because this is the first time I watched a trailer for this game that actually like.
Oh,
made
this
me
game is
think-
out.
I accepted
No,
my
this game
fate
isn't out.
and
Oh,
left
Fear
my
the Spotlight's
village.
out.
A person
Oh, but
chosen to
it's down
offer their
because
soul
of
to
they're
the
working on a
goddess,
significant
an
update.
alm
Oh, okay.
must journey to the mana tree.
This is the first
Oh.
Visions of Mana
The
trailer
mana
that I
of the
saw that made me
world
really
is
go,
furnished
huh?
This
maybe
is a
I'm gonna play
Blumhouse
this.
game.
Sacrifice.
Yeah,
Less
it's
Okay,
at the end
can
of
you
the trailer.
pause this? Can you pause this?
Sorry,
please,
sorry.
I feel like I said this was a Blumhouse game like twice while we were watching that, and it
Yeah.
said it in the trailer.
Oh, sorry, I must have missed that. Also, my audio is getting all fucked up. I didn't realize Steam was auto playing a trailer, and I was like, why is the sound all fucked?
I think we're just watching the Visions of Mana trailer.
No, I was watching. It was playing the trailer for Fear the Spotlight in Steam.
All right.
Wow.
Hit it, Chris Davis.
Sorry, that was my fault.
This is the first Visions of
The
Mana
elements
trailer that I saw
preserve
that
the
made me
future for
really
the
go,
whole
oh,
world.
maybe I'm gonna
It
play
is our
this.
duty, much as a soul guard's duty.
But is
to
it open
protect
world?
us. We
Just
all have our
shut-
individual roles to
And
play.
yeah,
Nick,
of course,
Ways
all
of life.
Mana
All
games
of
are
these
open world.
affect the future. And I am proud to be the bearer of such an important mission for those who may come after.
I mean, it looks
But
pretty.
I
It's cool.
don't
Just,
want to have to give all of this
I
up.
just
I don't know.
I, want
I
to keep
feel like
living my
it's been a
life.
long time since
And now
Square
that I've
Enix has
realized
like
that,
maybe really gone hard
I
for
know
this
that what I
series.
really want
Probably not
is to
since
stay here and keep making
actual,
memories
like,
with you.
Suikoden Setsu 3, maybe? So I don't know. I'm excited. There's like a job class system and stuff.
When was the last Mana game? Was
Technically, it was that remake of
I am the Soul
the
Guard.
third of
It's my
Suikoden
duty
Setsu
to
3,
take balls from
yeah.
which they called the Rise of Mana, I think.
Monsters we meet along our
Yeah.
journey
I think
to
so.
It
adventure
was just a
won't
remake
lay a
though,
finger on
and this definitely seems like that team
nothing
kind of
inside
making
I'll
an
change
original
my mind.
game, like
I'll become the
from
alm and
that,
make you see you were
you
wrong
know,
about everything.
you know, what taking what they've learned from remaking,
right?
you know, making a modern remake.
Benefits from
This
its
definitely
elements
seems like an
protection.
evolution of that.
That's a
But it
cat
definitely
person.
seems like they're kind of blowing out the
Trespassing
scope
within
and
cost you your life.
Okay,
I
that
think
looks
the
like he's straight up
last
fighting a.
actual sequel of a
I am
Mana game
counting
was on the
your protection on
PS2.
our journey to the
Am I
tree
right?
of
yeah, we don't
madness,
talk about the
such as
the
it is.
fourth Mana game. It's Dawn of Mana
Interesting
was
that they're
tragedy.
calling out the voice actors on this trailer.
There's nothing I can do about this.
That is kind of interesting.
Gosh, the
That's a
fairy's
nice point,
taking
yeah.
her sweet time.
You missed the country bumpkin though. She's awful. I don't know what they're
I didn't say
thinking.
they weren't good voice actors. I just said it was interesting.
No, some of them are absolutely fine, but there's one that has like this country accent. And I'm like, what is going on?
What is it? Is this what platform is it? This is not a Switch game, is it?
Everything.
No,
Or
this is
It would never be
everything
on the
game.
Switch.
Yeah,
This is not, it would not look as good on the Switch.
Yeah, I was about to say this looks like it's PS5 footage at
Oh no, it's probably,
probably or PC. Yeah, probably.
They
But
render
yeah.
everything on
Towards
PC.
the end of towards the end of the trailer, they show some of the like open the world traversal, like not vehicles per se. Well, you'll see what I mean. You don't really use cars and stuff in this universe.
I have never played a Mana game.
Perfect opportunity to
Yeah,
collect
I mean,
data.
obviously it's an old series that you know, Secret of Mana is very beloved, right?
It
Yeah,
has
the
its
original.
highs, but it has some lows.
It looks-
It's just kind of an old series, right?
Yeah.
And like, well, modern games might not be worth messing with. And this is, like I'm saying, this is the first trailer I saw where I'm like, oh,
The name's
this is
Ori.
pretty good. Maybe Square Enix has something there.
Yeah, the last
So,
time I
I'll
saw this
definitely
game,
be
I
renting
didn't
this
like
movie.
the movement and the combat, but this is doing a much better representation.
Which is
I mean,
still like maybe a little like
May you
clunky
safely
or
reach
whatever.
your
But
journey.
Clunky, a little, quite floaty,
Don't give
but
up.
Okay, is this trailer? This is not the trailer they showed at the Xbox showcase or whatever, is it?
they're
Because this is
certainly gonna do.
I don't remember seeing
no,
all
no,
this.
No, this wasn't on any show.
was at
I think
Sony.
Square Enix just released it.
We will protect the mana tree.
Oh,
We will
maybe
protect
it was
the
somewhere.
entire world.
August
But
29th.
yeah.
There's also that is the same.
Is there
chunk
a
of time.
demo for that, or so Square Enix always does demos? So there's either probably a demo or maybe will be a demo.
That is
Might be.
bananas.
Are we not watching any trailers for today? Or are we doing those on the show?
I think we're just going to talk about them on the show.
We are
we'll
definitely
talk
going to
about
talk
I don't know
about
why-
that
I don't
stuff.
know why we didn't talk about some of those on Trailer Talk. Okay.
We should. Well, because
It's 8:30.
we tried to do that last week and we ran into issues of the trailer's way too short and we had way too much to say and it was kind of just spoiling show conversation and I don't know.
I mean, if y'all want to throw some more in there and talk about them, I'm fine with that. I mean, I wouldn't mind rewatching a couple.
One
of
watch the Nintendo Direct here?
Yeah.
No,
did.
I mean, I would.
Oh,
Oh,
did you
yeah,
watch?
I did.
Yeah, yes, yeah, I watched it. I thought you meant like right now. No, yeah, I watched it.
I mean, I wouldn't mind rewatching like the Zelda and the Metroid trailers at the very least, just kind of as a
agreed.
refresher.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Yeah,
I'm just gonna put
throw
it
them
up
on
my
there,
own.
Chris Davis.
Well,
Or do you need me to?
why don't you throw them on there while I take care of loading up Nolan's footage for his segment of the show?
Oh, thank you, Davis.
Boom. It still says I'm playing Destiny 2, everybody.
Update Twitch.
I will take care of that.
I've got my hands full right now.
That's what she
Where
said.
where is the playlist?
I've
I
already,
try? I don't.
I've already added them. He just needs to
Thank
pull
you,
it up.
Okay, we're good then. Thank you. Let everybody being nice to.
Do you want
each
anything
other.
besides Zelda and Metroid? Do you want Mario and Luigi, anything like that? Or are we kind of?
I wouldn't mind rewatching Mario and Luigi
I think
either.
those three are the top ones.
Okay.
Let's fucking go.
I've got Chrome.
It'll
ready
be at the
when it
bottom of
happens.
your playlist.
Yeah. Let me just finish working on this scene.
How's everybody in chat doing?
What was I gonna say? Oh.
What is up, Miss Scarlet, Marlu Red, Niles TV, Sonji, Fatal Frame, Mecha, Wireless God, Bog Noise, Rogue Jaeger, Nolan.
Do this. Do this.
Oh man, where's Silksong, y'all?
I think that was the last. I mean, that was the last opportunity for them to like just. I feel like at this point, if it comes out this year, it's gonna be like they're just gonna tweet about it and be like, "Hey, guess what? It's out next week."
There's
you
technically
say that, but
one
there's still
more-
plenty of.
There's one more opportunity they could possibly be going for.
There's
You're not
more
gonna
than
say-
one opportunity to do anything, but like there are even actual showcases and stuff. I mean, it's you know, there could be another big indie showcase.
I mean, if they save it for Game Awards, it's not coming out this year.
No, Limited Run Games is doing an event tomorrow.
What?
I'm just saying they did a limited release of
Run
Hollow Knight.
Games.
But
And
you're not gonna save that for limited run. Are you
I was
kidding?
thinking more like
they could do anything. they fucking
Gamescom or
want.
something because
They could do
Keeley
Gamescom,
does a
too.
Gamescom showcase, you know. Or
King Carrie says they're gonna announce it during the presidential debate.
Could you imagine if Joe?
the thing is,
and now, Silksong.
I mean, it definitely is big enough to
Thank
where
you,
it
Mr.
doesn't have to
President.
be at a showcase or anything, right? Like you know, the Silksong developers, the 3 people that work at Team Cherry, do not have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars so Jeff Keighley can have it on his fucking
That's
stupid
true.
show, right? They don't need to do that. They're big enough to where they do anything and people will watch now. But there are things coming, right? You know, supposedly there's late summer showcases, or even like I think Sony's supposed to have something in September, and we know Nintendo's probably going to have something
Another
for
Direct.
the next Switch.
Oh yeah, they will.
Before
Oh,
the
yeah,
next
yeah.
Switch.
Oh,
They'll have a
You
treehouse.
could be holding it for that. They could be holding it.
I
for
am
that.
worried for that because if you think about it, like Hollow Knight didn't really blow up until it came out on Switch, and then it kind of blew up everywhere.
Can I play the
Um,
trailer?
But that would be one
Yes.
hell of a get if they even if you don't need a Switch 2 to play it, like that would be a hell of a thing to announce or re-reveal alongside it. By the way, Lo Cimento and chat, we have watched all the announcements. We're just recapping a couple of the big ones before we talk about it on the podcast.
Yeah.
Chad,
The
does
thing is,
feed
one of the
look
big
alright?
things what?
What'd you say?
I'm asking
Kristen?
Chad if the feed looks all right.
One of the things is I wanted to talk about this trailer. It's not very loud.
Yeah, I don't hear very
You're a
much.
little quiet.
Oh, there it is.
Starts quiet.
I hear it now.
one of the things I want to talk about in regards to this game was how disappointed I was with this trailer, and I don't know if I'm supposed to do that here or on the podcast.
You should.
I'll at least let y'all watch it.
Save it for the podcast. I mean, that sounds like meaty conversation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got my reasons. Yeah. Here's Metroid Prime after all these years. Let's see. The last Metroid Prime game was a early Wii game. 2007, I believe.
It's
Metroid Prime
so
3
crazy.
Corruption. Yep.
I
100%ed that game.
How many years?
That was actually my very first Metroid game.
15 years. What is
That's
that? What's the math
So
there?
weird.
A long time.
And
Let's call it,
then this game was announced 7 years, 7 years ago.
2017.
Let's call it 17 years.
He's a bad guy.
Was this announced
Look
before
at that logo.
or after
Just
the
mirrors
Switch
that
was
logo
revealed?
kind of suck, and that title kind of sucks.
I think the title sucks. The logo doesn't
Yeah,
bother
the logo
me so much.
sucks ass too.
Yeah, it's a little
talking about.
bland.
I'm talking about.
This is
Then
my
you get these
favorite
kinda
shot of the whole trailer.
Yeah.
It's definitely how the trailer maybe should have been, but we'll talk about it.
2025.
And
Sorry,
don't
Chris
get
Davis.
it twisted or get it twisted. I'm referring to the trailer, not the video game.
Well, yeah. Speaking of studios making a game and a remake of a game and then being given reign to make an original game in that series, that's what happened here, right?
Well,
I would
more
imagine.
like they made a lot of original assets and they needed to continue to use them.
What's this? Who's this? Who's developing this?
It's the same team that made
Link's Awakening.
the Link's Awakening remake.
Oh, and what team was that?
I don't know. It's an internal
don't
Nintendo
know.
team, isn't it?
Link's Awakening.
Hold on. Oh no. Wasn't it? Was it
Grezzo. Okay,
Grezzo.
so Grezzo did the remake for like Twilight Princess, and then they did the Link's Awakening thing, which ran like shit weirdly. So this is a studio that typically does remakes, and they're the ones working on this.
I'm trying to confirm.
Okay.
Hold on.
Oh no.
Interesting. Hope it's good. It looks cool. I mean, it
Actually,
doesn't look amazing,
It would be
but,
really
you know.
weird. It would be really weird if Grezzo was not the one making this, considering this
I'm
is the
pausing
art
this real
style.
quick.
Well,
I
I
mean,
mean, it's not so much the art style. It's actually, it feels like a blend between that art style, character design specifically, and actually a link between worlds. I feel like it's a merge.
This
of
is the
two.
Link to the Past, Link to the World's map. If you look at it,
Well, yeah,
This is
correct.
the Link to the Past.
So
Oh,
I'm on Grezzo's.
It's like a weird, janky, small version of it, but you're right. This
It's
is
definitely not. Oh, it's not too far off because this is not the
Link to the
entire map.
Past.
Because
because you got
Yeah,
the,
you
the
have-
rock field over here, and then you got the temple to the
Yeah,
right, and
there's
the
dungeon
Hyrule
over
Castle to the left.
there. This is like a weird version of
I guess you from this angle you probably be able to see the little temple. Not temple, but
Is-
the little church, unless it's like kind of hidden.
it. Is this
That-
the
that'll
actual
be back
game world
behind
that
the
we're
castle
seeing
over there.
here?
Yeah,
I
man.
guess.
Is this,
I guess
like,
kind of see something.
is this a faraway shot of this game? What are we looking at here? This can't.
Yeah,
be.
I think that's
This
what
is
you're
over by
looking
the
at. I think
lake.
there's. Yeah, I
No,
think
no,
this
I-
probably. No, Brad. I think this is probably not. That's not by the lake. It's in the lower right side where you kind of that. Well, I
Yeah.
guess the desert's in the lower.
the lake.
left.
The lake. The bottom right is the,
yeah.
the
But yeah,
lake,
right in front. Right in front of the lake or whatever. But I'm sure this is like maybe there's just like when you walk over to this area, the camera tilts or something.
Do I need to
like that.
pull
I
out my
wouldn't be surprised.
giant Link to the Past map so we can look?
No. I
That
know this
delightful,
map, like
that
the-
delightful Christmas present I gave you like 12 years ago. Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Go ahead.
definitely
one-
like
the
kind
one
of
that I don't have a
small
wall-
version of it.
The one that I
Press
don't have
play.
a
I
wall
want to
big
see
enough
this in
for.
motion. Are we seeing?
Hey, real quick. I'm on
Okay.
Grezzo's website right now, and this game is not yet listed on their website. Take that.
Yeah, but that's
however you
Nintendo's
will.
weird. Oh, there's even a rock wall.
Yeah, I
which
see
looks
that.
kinda-
Yeah.
Oh, weird. But I don't know if that's.
I'm AG Aunu.
Well,
if that's something
actually,
for the
there
trailer.
was the volcano that would have been like northwest.
What you
So
just
it's
saw
not
was
exactly the same
latest
map. Okay.
installment.
I'm sure it could be
Volcano.
modified a little.
Echoes
Yeah.
of wisdom.
That volcano is not.
This time around,
It's not somewhere you
That's
go.
not right.
now
The volcano
it's up
would have
to
been
Princess
due north from
Zelda
the
to
castle.
Step into the protagonist role. You might be
Um,
thinking, will Zelda fight with a
What does this
sword?
shirt say?
let's see what this is talking about.
Hyrule
Hyrule-
fan.
Create a new gameplay style that breaks conventions seen in past
Yeah.
Legend of Zelda games with a top.
But that wouldn't really be even. The fan
Is it-
would cut off like
Please take a
Hyrule would
look
go
at
way
this video.
farther over.
Hyrule fanboy? Fanboy?
Fanny? maybe.
Or Fanny. I like Fanny.
Hyrule Fantasy.
Across the vast lands of Hyrule.
So this is looking better, and like this it doesn't remind me of that A Link to the Past.
Oh, it reminds me 100%.
No. I'm saying like the actual like geometry.
The geometry is different. I'm just, but next thing like the assets look similar.
Like the
I think that
visual
was a weird,
scale is the same.
I think that was just a
By waving the
weird
tri-rod
pullout.
at a
Like I don't
table
think that's
she
the
found,
actual.
Zelda learned
This might not
how to
even
create an
be.
imitation of it called
Tables.
Once you learn an
Yeah.
echo of something, you can recreate it whenever
I have
you
a-
I mean, it's cool.
Opinions
Obviously, they were gonna have
about
to come up
rocking
with a
your
gimmick,
path.
right? Because
You
you know,
can
they're,
create
like they
echoes
said,
or
they weren't gonna give her a
tables
sword.
Just like
And I'm
that.
into it. It just
We'll
means it's
talk
going to be
about that.
much more
Create
much more
wooden
puzzly,
boxes.
right? Because they keep saying
Oh,
you got to
okay.
use her wisdom
And
because she's the
unusual
wisdom
things
Triforce,
like
right?
water blocks. How you
And I see
use
stuff
them
like this, like those
separately or
water blocks, the
together is
So I
verticality.
think
I
you might be
think it's
limited
potential.
into the number of things
Learn
you
and
can
create
pick up at
echoes
any
of
given
things you
time.
find while exploring Hyrule.
Is I think is a pretty. Oh, never. Actually, that
You
does
might
show.
be
I mean,
Yeah,
the
we can
vibe
dungeon
I'm
here
getting
because
from
this
this is like scribbled knots as far as like puzzle solving.
This environment does
Kind
not exist in A
Even
Link to the Past,
battles
so it's
will look
definitely not the A
different.
Link to the Past map.
Pick
Yeah.
up and
The
throw
basic
there's a lot of
items,
inspiration.
for
It's
example.
similar.
That's
Well,
not
no,
all,
I mean
though.
it was a good
You can
call out because
also
when it
create
was zoomed out
echoes
on the
of
cliffside, it definitely did
monsters.
look like that, like some
After
sort of
doing
weird,
so, they'll fight
shaky
by your
version of
side.
interesting.
Monsters have different abilities.
You're not
so
going to hit
choose the
anything
one
with
you
your
want to
stick.
create
I get it.
Probably not.
She's a girl.
situation. Wisdom is
Come on now.
key, after all.
Doesn't have
She's
the.
not a girl. She's a thoughtful and smart.
A
tactician.
Nintendo princess character is not allowed to engage in combat, according to Nintendo.
I mean, she's kind of engaging in.
I mean, she's combating. She's just
No,
not.
she has
swinging.
other people
What?
do her combat for her.
The fate of the kingdom is
She's a
now
princess,
in
I guess.
Zelda's hands.
Although that
I
there
like
was
how
that
they're
sheep
doing a
costume
bunch of
for like
the
a half second.
How was that?
They're doing a bunch of the like Link's
I hope
Awakening
you
style
enjoyed this
side-scrolling stuff,
demonstration
which
of
is
the
cool.
echo ability,
Yeah.
which channels Princess Zelda's
Can
wisdom.
anybody find me that
There
shirt?
are
I'm
a
kind
lot
of curious.
of echoes in this game. To be honest,
I might be
I haven't
interested in
counted
that.
them all yet.
Check the Nintendo
How you
merch site.
solve puzzles,
maybe?
In fact, they seem like they're going pretty hard on
depending on
the only thing I'm worried about is
In short, we've
there's no way
created a
this game is
where
like
each
even
player's
remotely
experience
challenging,
will be
right?
different.
Oh yeah, no, this
Probably.
The
is.
Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom.
I don't think it's gonna be a
launches
challenging
September
game.
26th.
I hate that.
A
I don't
Nintendo
wanna be-
Switch
like it was like
inspired by the
literally
Legend of Zelda series
the only
will also
downside
be
to A Link
available
Between
at
Worlds,
launch.
which was
We
More
hope you're
Switches
a near-
looking forward
before 2
to
comes
playing
out.
as Zelda
a near
in this
perfect
new
game.
adventure.
Yeah.
All right, last one
This
before
was
before
the
the podcast.
surprise. Like, I immediately recognize this when they had that shot of Luigi. But like,
Yeah.
I can't. I thought they were done with this franchise.
What
Why?
shot of Luigi? What are you talking about?
Of
Wait,
just
why
the
would you think they were
profile
done
shot
with
the
this?
art style, but of the Mario and Luigi franchise because they
Why?
hadn't
But,
made
like,
one
what-
since like the 3DS.
That
Well, they
doesn't
also
mean
shut down.
anything.
Also, that studio closed down.
Yeah,
I mean,
they closed it down.
Well, they did remakes of
Mhm.
Superstar Saga and Bowser's Inside Story, and I believe both those bombed. But Bowser's one is. There was one that was very late 3DS after the Switch was already out, and I'm like,
Yeah,
what are you doing? That studio unfortunately shut down. But this definitely seems like a new, this is definitely the most modern looking one they've done. Like this is.
Oh, for sure.
I mean,
The other
it's
ones were
kind of-
very
It's
handheld
going-
looking.
It's giving me like Wind Waker vibes because they're going from island to island.
it gives me Galaxy vibes.
Well, this is Mario and Luigi Brothership. They're on a pirate ship. That thing that they're getting rocketed from is a ship.
You're saying you shit
It's a seafaring adventure.
I do like the visual style.
Yeah, I mean everything's like so. So I've played at least 2 of these damn games,
I
and
think I played 2 or 3. Yeah. I played
mechanically they're pretty cool. I mean they're
No,
a lot
they
more
are.
involved mechanically
This
than
this game will be more
Pokemon.
challenging than the Zelda game.
Oh,
Yes,
that's for sure.
You'd be
That's for
surprised how these games can be fairly challenging.
This combat's like very active. Very active. It's sort of like the evolution of the action systems from that started with Mario RPG and then Paper Mario, and this kind of like takes it to the next level where it's like you're really on the move.
Thank you, Popular Advantage.
It sort of made it like a 1-to-1 thing, right? Like when an enemy kicks a shell at you, you're just like you're timing the jump just like you would in like a platformer. almost, and it would like go back and forth. It's a very active combat system, more so than any other. It's exciting. I mean, I'm glad there's like other big games coming out this year that aren't just like Nintendo always has some shit that they're just holding. And when everyone says, well, I guess Nintendo doesn't have anything coming out this year, they're like, they pull out a couple. But what about these? Everyone's like, oh, fucking.
It does. It is. I wonder when they're going to make that Switch 2 announcement, though. It's got to be soon.
Well, they said that specifically today would not be a Switch 2 thing. And that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I knew that. I wasn't expecting that hardware
I think
announcement,
it's
but it's got to be soon.
Show. Tokyo Game Show.
That would make sense.
Around there, maybe, yeah. No Fire Emblem remake. Long rumored Fire Emblem remake that has just been sitting on a shelf.
We will talk about it on the show.
Okay.
We got to go. It's
you got something to say about Fire Emblem?
All right, I'm ready to record when y'all
about
are.
the presentation.
Oh.
Should we try and do this all in one thing? Or?
Whatever you want to do. Why do you want to do it in one?
We don't have a lot of impressions. We're doing the Nintendo recap, and I mean,
we got 2 main impressions, and I've got 3 quick ones.
3 quick ones?
Yeah.
3 quick ones.
You got mine in there? You got mine in there?
No, you're one of the 2, yes.
I think Nolan had a game.
Yep, Nolan and you both have a game.
Oh, you weren't going to talk about Destiny? Oh, you were going to play more.
I'm going to play more before I talk about it. You told me I couldn't come on this podcast and just say how much I thought the gun felt nice.
The shooting feels good.
Ooh, the shooting feels nice. You said you'd fall out of your chair.
It's literally like the most even in Destiny's 1 and 2's like darkest times, the most casual conversation about what the fuck is going on with this game. Everyone always throws in the comment, well, the shooting feels the shooting feels good.
It does feel
it feels good
though.
to shoot things. But that's literally since the first alpha of Destiny what people have been saying.
Yep.
So that's why it's funny when you said that.
I was not planning on talking about it until I've played a significant chunk of it. So, but to answer your question, Lo Cimento, I am playing a warlock, an awoken warlock.
Awoke?
Wow.
Warlock, okay.
Awoken being my race, warlock being my class. Anyways, are we ready?
I am recording.
All right, I'm hitting record.
Do that.
Being woke is a race now, yes.
I hate that I just heard those words. Okay.
Wait,
right.
what? The ones that I said?
Being woke is a race now.
Yeah, because I said... Did you... Okay. Did the joke just...
No, I just didn't like processing that in my brain.
Well, neither... It's not serious. At least I hope it's not serious.
I know. I am recording.
Nolan? You're making faces. Nolan looks very intense.
He's
probably
focused.
smelling his own farts right now.
I mean,
I don't think he can hear us. Okay, now. Whoa, Nelly.
That's Nolan's intense hacker face.
Metroid Day. Celebrating Metroid Day here.
Hey, this is relevant. We got Silent Hill 2 coming out.
That's not relevant. It's not relevant. Okay, look, it's not relevant.
Silent Hill 2.
Mine's beautiful. There's no
Chris Davis.
Deadpool news. There's no
have
Silent
one.
Hill news.
No, there's a Deadpool and Wolverine movie coming out. That's relevant. Chris Davis, show us your mouse
I don't have
pad.
one, unfortunately.
I swear to God. I swear to God, Chris Davis.
He bought one, but it was just like the squishy part was just a giant erect cock, and I was like, "How is this even good for my wrist?" So he doesn't keep it out.
Turns out it was fantastic. Made the wrist feel great. Oh, I'm doing a sound test.
Cool. If Chris Davis had one of those mouse pads, who would it be?
Master Chief, of course.
No, that's
No.
You could get way more inventive there. I was thinking, what do they call the Doom guy?
Just the Doom guy. The Doom Slayer.
Is he really? Yeah, yours is just. Oh yeah, you'd have Doom Slayer, with the cheeks.
I imagine it exists.
Or it could be Sam Fisher. You could have a Sam Fisher one. That'd be good.
No, I'm not putting my wrist between Michael Ironside's buttocks.
Cheeks?
No.
You're muted, Nolan. Sorry, I'm sure he probably knows that.
We still cannot hear you.
No, it's the Doom Slayer.
I'm looking at my display case trying to think of what it would be.
Who's
What if the
butt?
answer's not in that display case?
Then I'd have to go and look at my library.
What if this answer's not in your library?
Well, I'll have to look on the internet, Brad. And if I
What
can't
if you
find it on
just
the
can't
internet,
recall?
then oh well.
All right, I'm stopping my recording until Nolan gives me a
Yeah.
thumbs up.
That's a
Wait,
thumbs
I
up.
just got back.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, I'm hitting record.
I am recording as well.
All right, then we are all officially recording, so the roll call starts now. Brad,
Hello.
Nolan,
Hey, this is Nolan, and I am doing a roll call for the podcast.
Chris Davis.
I am also here doing a sound test for the podcast.
Look at that, fantastic. Hey everybody, welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is episode 790. Are we on 99 or 98?
799, baby.
You wrote 98 on the Twitch feed, just so you're aware. You fucked
Okay,
up.
then it didn't update.
799, guys. Welcome to episode 799. It is June. Hold on, I got
18th.
18th, 2024. I know what I'm doing.
This podcast is going really well already.
I'm a professional. I'm tired tonight, so I apologize for any future mistakes that I'm inevitably going to make. I'm your host, Nick Henderson, and I'm joined tonight by Brad Simons.
What's up? What
Nolan
up?
Hed-
Woo!
Nolan Hedstrom.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
And Christopher Davis.
Good evening.
And we just had a lovely trailer talk before we hit record here. If you weren't aware, we've been recording group trailer talks live on the stream at 8 p.m. on twitch.tv/4Player Podcast every Tuesday night before we record. So if you weren't aware, you should come hang out while we do that. It's fun. We watched a bunch of cool trailers, some of which we're going to talk about on this podcast, this very podcast tonight, because you know what? We had a Nintendo Direct day. We all kind of knew it was coming, right? We knew Nintendo has been known to do this from time to time.
It was definitely like not only was it like heavily rumored or even obviously Nintendo was going to do something during June or whatever, because I mean
Right.
everybody sort of does, and it was nice to get it before the end of June, because I feel like last year was like this too, but the summer Nintendo thing was like sort of the last one of like, all right, I'm definitely going to save my money till I see Nintendo. I feel like a lot of people saved their money last year till Nintendo and this year as well. And man, this year there's some stuff to spend money on, and I have almost none of it. So
yeah, and we're referring to Fantasy Critic.
Fantasy Critic. I got real life money to spend on these games. I just don't have fake money to spend on these games.
Right. Which I feel like it's been a couple weeks since we've had a chance to really kind of give a thorough update on Fantasy Critic. So we'll revisit that a little bit later in the show. But yeah,
it might be better to do that
Nintendo Direct
next week, honestly.
Yes, next week will be a big one. But yeah, Nintendo Direct today, which was great. So, and we got good news, bad news situation, guys. We got a new Zelda announced. We got a new.
There's some bad news stuff. Let's save the bad news because
no, I mean, let's just rip the Band-Aid off, shall we? Like, no Silksong. No Silksong today. So, And Robin had recently played Hollow Knight for the first time, and she's finally like on the train. She's like, I'm ready for Silksong, and I've been trying to like explain. It's like welcome to our world. We've been waiting. Everyone's been waiting for this, and it's just like every year, it's like this is it. This is the show. And today was her first time where she got to go. Did they show Silksong? And I said no. And she's like, what? Like, all on her own.
Yeah, after it didn't show up at Xbox, I was like, they gotta show it here, right? And now it's like, who knows when it's gonna happen? I'm starting to get discouraged, but let's be clear here. I'm not like these clown makeup people that think it's vaporware that's never coming out.
No, of course not.
My bummer is more from it being my number one draft pick for Fantasy Critic. I really need that game to come out if I want to have a chance. But if it doesn't actually come out this year in terms of like playing games, I don't mind because there's plenty of stuff coming out. There's like big games coming out from
Understatement,
everyone, really.
yeah. Understatement of the year. Just real quick while we're on the topic of Silksong, right? You remember a few weeks ago we were talking about how like I was like, I have a picture on my phone from the last E3 that ever have existed, where there was someone in front of me at the Nintendo booth playing Silksong, right? And I was reminded that that's because Silksong started as DLC for Hollow Knight. I completely forgot about that aspect of it. It eventually morphed into its own full game. So like what they were actually demoing at E3 was
the crazy
the
part
DLC.
Is Team Cherry released significant DLC post Hollow Knight launch. Like within that time, like this is a studio that can make and put out lots of content. Like those DLCs were like pretty big deals. And I think that was E3 2019 where they had a playable version of Silksong just 2 years after Hollow Knight came out and 3 different DLCs. So it's like for it to be this long and they're still not even, and they showed trailers. I mean, we know this game exists. It's just like, what the fuck? It really is. I think they know that they have to live up to the original, and that's no easy fucking feat for 3 people.
I do feel like when we eventually get Silksong and we're playing it and we're talking about it, it's going to be more apparent. It's going to be obvious why. Oh, that's why this took so damn long.
Well, you say that, but like what I think it's going to be is it's like, oh yeah, Hollow Knight, like one of the best games ever. Of course, the sequel to that is just as special because you only need to play Hollow Knight a little bit to know it's crazy. There's another thing missing here that I was kind of bummed about. This one I didn't have like as high expectations, but there's been enough like buzz around it existing that I was kind of hoping to see it, and that was something update on the Final Fantasy Tactics remaster / remake, whatever. Obviously, that's a big one for me. I want that more than anything.
Yeah.
So not seeing that here.
For me too, yeah.
Also, there's been a long rumored Fire Emblem remake of Genealogy of the Holy War, and another one series I like, and I would love a remake of that one. The last remake they did was really good, and I don't know. I half expected to see that here because there's been long rumors of Nintendo holding projects, and I feel like they're holding them. They were holding them for this time period before the launch of a Switch 2, where they just need to put out games that aren't like graphical powerhouses, right? And which is probably why we're seeing, a 2D Zelda and a Mario and Luigi game, right?
We're calling that a 2D Zelda.
So 2D Zelda,
top down.
Is it
top down? Yeah, I mean old school Zelda, 2D Zelda. Yeah,
okay,
I mean
isometric
Ocarina
Zelda?
was 3D. Well, it doesn't. Whatever. The thing is, when Ocarina came out and it was 3D Zelda, you just sort of called the other ones before that 2D Zeldas. So yeah, I mean,
but there was only 2D Zeldas before that.
I know, that's what I'm saying. And this is a pre Ocarina of Time Zelda in terms of like perspective and scope.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue. I'm not gonna fight
arguing with me for
because I don't think it's 2D. But whatever. That's neither here nor there. It doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, not literally like sprites. Isometric. Yes, isometric is what I'm referring to, Nick. Like A Link Between Worlds, A Link to the Past, like.
Or we can call it like the remake of Link's Awakening, which was
also a 2D Zelda.
No, I would never call that a 2D Zelda. Whatever. That's neither here nor there.
Are we actually going to talk about Nintendo now, or are we going to do?
Yeah, we're talking about it, right?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I just needed to get the overlay going. So.
Oh, sorry.
I got
Show
a
the
list
overlay.
here. We'll skip over stuff that Nick doesn't care about. But Mario and Luigi Brothership was their opening.
about that.
Strong opening.
It was a very strong opening.
Very good looking
surprise, really.
Mario and Luigi. It was a surprise because
That's when I knew Nintendo.
Well, we knew about a lot of things.
I mean, we knew this Nintendo Direct was going to be about 40 minutes prior, and like they opened with that, and I was like, "Oh, this is when I realized that Nintendo is bringing their A game today because they announced it and closed with a November release date on a new Mario and Luigi game, and
Zelda
crazy.
was just didn't even end it right. It was just in the middle. Like that was a sign that, like at that point, I knew that they either had Metroid or Silksong, and you know it was Metroid, but. This looks really good. You know, it's been a long time since we've had like a big new entry in this series, and those are really cool games. And this one looks like a very good one of those. I don't know who's developing it. I'm actually curious now. We should look into that. But
so we talked about this a little bit during trailer talk. So this remind me. So the studio that made the previous ones is no longer around.
Yeah. They what were they called? New. I don't know.
This is the studio that made like Bowser's Inside Story, or
so since Alpha Dream. So this is a series that started with Superstar Saga on the GBA, and it was sort of like if Mario, so like Paper Mario kind of went one direction, and Mario and Luigi games kind of like carried on the spirit of like maybe traditional Mario RPG. Like this is more of a kind of explore the world kind of game, while Paper Mario kind of became like a gimmicky set PC kind of thing from act to act. It evolved into like non-RPG. These games definitely stayed RPGs. So
although this definitely has RPG combat in it, right? But it seemed more like free, like more like.
But see, all the Mario and Luigi games like build like these platforming mechanics where Mario and Luigi are kind of like jumping on each other and off each other. That's always been a staple to the series, where they kind of work that platforming into the way you explore the world and the maps. But it is very much like a kind of a traditional JRPG of like going to places and towns and that sort of thing. And
it's cool. You're on a pirate ship and you're going from island to island. That was cool.
It's cool. It is cool.
Yeah, I'm into it.
It looks good. It was unexpected because even like the 2D Zelda game got kind of leaked, or you know, it's been rumored.
I know you're trying to poke at me.
Nick,
Stop calling it that.
Listen, you motherfucker. As someone's been calling it that since the mid '90s, it's just what people call it. Go on Fantasy Critic. I bet
people are wrong.
No, before this game was announced, there was a rumored unannounced 2D Zelda game. That's what they called it. A 2D Zelda game. That's what they call pre Ocarina of Time style Zelda games. They call them 2D Zelda games.
So dumb.
I'm sorry. That's just what it is.
I feel like it's just like unintentionally like it's like looking down upon like their lesser Zelda games or something. I don't know. It's weird.
They're old school design. They're old school design.
Condescending.
Same thing with like 2D Mario, right?
I wouldn't say that, Nick. I would say it all has to do with like the camera. You know, the fact that you have free control of the camera in a 3D space in you know, Breath of the Wild versus this game where you don't. You can't control the camera at all. You just kind of move around a 2D plane to an extent. Yes, you might be going up and down, but you're not like, you know, that's my thought.
What do you think they called Mario Wonder? The ones that looked like the Mario games before Mario 64, they call them 2D Marios.
To ride on a 2D plane? A 2D Mario game.
But you understand, isometric is just, it's still the plane. You're still locked to a plane. It's just from the top view. I'm telling you, that's what people call it, Nick. We're wasting time, but you're wrong.
I'm here to waste time. That's what I do.
Yeah, it's just
definitely what the host of a podcast should be doing.
Yep. I'm feeling like I woke up this morning and chose violence.
What do y'all think about Nintendo World Championships NES Edition? Any interest in that? I mean, it seems kind of cool.
It's not for me, but it's cool that it exists.
Collection of these old NES games designed for like kind of modern speedrunning, and so it looks cool. Let's see. The Fantasian finally got a port off of Apple Arcade.
Yeah. That was a really cool like mobile RPG, right? Like it was only available on like phones.
Yeah, it was
only available on Apple.
On Apple phones,
Arcade,
but it had
so
a really
you had
cool
to have
art
a sub.
style.
Well, I mean, art styles, whatever. It was a traditional JRPG from Sakaguchi, right? That was the
Yeah,
thing.
right.
And like Uematsu did the soundtrack, and it was stuck on Apple Arcade, and it had a cool mechanic where you can like twist the aiming. You can like aim enemies like shooting at enemies in battle and stuff. But anyways, it was stuck on Apple Arcade for a long time, and people were kind of excited. People have been kind of begging for this to be put on Switch for quite a while now, and they finally announced it, and that's kind of cool. People seem to sort of like it. Some sports stuff, and
also,
I would say that the next big
about,
thing is.
I want to mention about Fantasia real quick. Is that
Yeah.
this is actually being published by Square Enix, so that's kind of interesting.
Did they not publish the original?
No, they didn't.
Interesting.
Sakaguchi has not been involved in a Square Enix has not been involved in a Sakaguchi project since before Lost Odyssey.
Interesting.
Not anymore.
Final Fantasy. What was the last Sakaguchi thing? Final Fantasy 9 that he was even remotely involved in. When did he leave?
At Square?
Yeah, I think he left after 9.
Yeah, he left after 9.
Donkey Kong Country Returns HD was announced, which I believe is relevant to at least Fantasy Critic, because Chris Davis had a Donkey. What was the thing you actually?
A mainline Donkey Kong platformer.
Mainline Donkey Kong platformer, and that didn't even specify 2D versus 3D. It could have been either.
It could have been either, but it had to be a new game. It couldn't be a remake.
Yeah, no, I know. Obviously, it doesn't count.
Port.
So Fantasy Critic is coding that entry as Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. So since that's going to 2025, it doesn't count, and I'm fucked.
It doesn't even. I guess there was no HD version of it, right?
Wait, did I miss that?
They did.
They're counting that. They're turning that mainline entry that you drafted into that Donkey Kong Country Returns.
I mean, that's what I saw on Discord. Yeah.
No. I'm sure that'll be corrected, because this is just a port. And a game they already ported once before, because it was originally Wii, and then it was ported to 3DS, and then
I mean, one way or the other, it doesn't matter because it's counterpicked.
It doesn't matter.
On Chris Davis's Fantasy Critic right now, it says this game will not release this year. Unannounced Donkey platforming game.
Yeah, but see, they should not have done that, because obviously this is not a new mainline Donkey Kong game. That'll probably be debated, because people who in their leagues who drafted that as a granted, it did not get drafted in many leagues. Who shouldn't get a free drop from that, but whatever. Dragon Quest 3, this one was announced forever ago, Japan only even. But the HD 2D remake of Dragon Quest 3 is looking pretty good. I know we're not big Dragon Quest heads there, and they're also doing 1 and 2 remake. This looks nice. I mean, I like a HD 2D remake, but these are like the NES Dragon Quest games, which are pretty old.
Yeah, it seems like
it looks nice, but I don't know how modern it's going to feel, even though they are saying there's some.
I feel like it's for people who have a deep-rooted love for the series, who have been around and played the original.
I guess, but I mean, it's a big deal, obviously, for Dragon Quest in Japan, especially, right?
Does anybody know why it's like you're supposed to play 3 and then play 1 and 2 after 3?
Story reasons. I mean, it's just story-wise that comes before 1 and 2.
I didn't know that.
Supposedly.
Very weird.
They were all disconnected tales. Okay.
It is cool though. Oh, 3 is people in chat are saying 3 is a prequel. Okay. Very weird.
Let's see. New Dimpaman game. It's funny. David texted me. He's like, "Oh, did you see that Nintendo Direct? Aren't you so hyped?" And I'm like, "Yeah, for that new Dimpaman game, you mean?" And David was like, "How did you? Damn, you know me so well," or whatever. Because I knew it would never be. It would be some bullshit like the Dimpaman.
I forgot Dimpaman existed.
Okay, I'd say the next big thing is probably shout out to the Marvel vs. Capcom fighting game collection, which includes, of course, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and all of those Marvel vs. Capcom games, Street Fighter vs. X-Men or whatever. That's a really cool collection. And that Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is one of the most beloved fighting games of all time. And there's not many places where you can still acquire that.
Yeah.
So people were going crazy for that.
I just had a momentary I just had like a momentary like, oh my god, I just realized, fuck, I'm fucked moment, and then realized. So I was like, there's Deca Police didn't show up. here.
No.
And then I was like, oh, but Tokyo Game Show probably
Tokyo
makes more
Game
sense.
Show. Yeah, I would not worry too much about that. Level 5 ships games, these
Yeah, they
days.
do.
So, I guess the big thing is The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom, which I was kind of hoping that we would call it something else, right? The Legend of Link.
I think a lot of people
or whatever.
I mean, I think everybody had that same thought, but also
first playable Zelda in a main.
But you know why I'm glad they
Zelda
didn't do
game?
that? You know why I'm glad they didn't do that? Because I feel like if they had done that, it would have set this precedent of like, if you're not playing as Link, it's not a Zelda game. And it's like, I feel like now they've kind of opened Pandora's box, and it's like, they've made a Legend of Zelda game where you play as Zelda, so now they can just kind of do that. Like, we've talked about this before. Like,
Here's my question.
This isn't the
Here's my
first Zelda
question,
game
though.
that you can play as Zelda.
I know, I'm just saying,
it's the first.
they're not calling
I
it
mean,
the Legend of Link or something.
Yeah, but I mean,
You know what I
okay,
mean?
so you can kind of play as her a little bit, a version of her in like Spirit Tracks, and then there was the bad CDI games. But like, this is like her big
Cadence of
debut.
Hyrule.
Okay, this is her big debut in a Zelda game. I feel
It's a
like,
Zelda game.
no, it is a good fucking video game, but of course, non Nintendo was gonna treat Zelda
My only
better.
point is that it's
also
not a
she was
spin-off.
playable
They're
in
not
like
classifying this as a spin-off by
No,
changing
yeah.
the name dramatically.
No. Also, you can play as her in those Tecmo Koei developed Hyrule Warriors games where she's like a fucking badass.
Yeah.
And
That's not a Zelda. That's not a fucking like mainline Zelda game.
I know. I'm here to say that like, it's a little sad that like the big debut of like playable Zelda is, such a gimmick game. Which, by the way, granted, the game looks great. I'm sure it's going to be great. Like, absolutely. Like, it's probably going to be a stunner. But like she's used powerful magic in various Zelda games before. She's there's even been cool versions of Zelda like Tetra and Sheik and stuff, right? Whatever.
She's always been a capable character. Yeah. They just never
so
fucking
many
use
tables
her.
and chairs is it's giving Animal Crossing a little bit, which is fine because we know the puzzles are going to be.
I'm really actually kind of surprised to hear you say that, because when they revealed what like kind of the quote unquote gimmick is here with her moveset,
as a video game, it's cool. It's cool.
I was thinking that they were kind of like, this was kind of them chasing kind of the magic of Tears of the Kingdom a little bit, but in a very different way, where it's like they're going for like the playground, where it's like they give you
open-ended.
They give you an ability that's very open-ended, and you can use it any number of ways, which is kind of what Breath of the Wild kind of dipped its toes into, and then Tears of the Kingdom ran with.
None of this is to like speak to the quality of the game or the coolness of the ideas, but like, I'm just saying, like, there's nothing that badass about the first thing you do is summoning a table, right? I'm just saying, it ain't cool. It's
just about the tables.
It's like, oh, they literally say she can't use a fucking sword or whatever. She's gonna summon tables. So it's like, all right,
I mean, it's
whatever.
It's gonna be a meme.
The people who did not watch the trailer, the whole gimmick of her gameplay experience is that she goes around this world and she encounters items and she basically scans them and can create clones and copies of them. That includes like enemies too. And that's how combat is done, to where she basically summons an enemy clone and has them attack enemies for her.
Yeah, that's part of combat. I mean, the way they show her, like, say, lifting up a rock and flinging a rock, I mean, you're throwing it the same way like Link would, right? And there was one point where she had like a cannon hat and she was just aiming that thing, blasting full. So, I mean, there is some more or less direct, like, she's fucking shit up. It's just,
I mean, let's be real.
It's definitely more puzzly.
If they had gone the opposite direction and just given her a sword, everyone would be like, she's just.
Well, I mean, I don't think they would have given her literally the same moveset, but I mean, yeah,
they're making bold moves, and
she has really cool magic in some of these games that she's in.
She does, and also
like
she
her
was a
fucking
fucking badass as Sheik in Ocarina of Time. Like, I don't understand how you wouldn't want to give her a costume that gives her the ability to absolutely fucking kick ass.
Whatever, but I mean, what's here is very neat looking. I think this game is going to be. It reminds me a lot of, like A Link Between Worlds and, the Link to the Link's Awakening remake is cool, but I mean, it is more or less just a remake. This seems much more modern with like new modern ideas, like A Link Between Worlds, which is really cool with like the going into the wall as a painting stuff. So I expect puzzle design to be pretty fucking cool here. But now that this is Grezzo developed, do we know that, or was Nick just kind of pulling that out of his
I don't think that we've gotten official confirmation about this.
Okay.
I've been.
No, it's Grezzo.
Yeah, I don't know for certain what it is.
I'm curious because that is a studio that is not made. Oh, it's Nintendo EPD. Okay, so maybe it's not Grezzo. Which is, I mean, that's the thing, right? If it really is a developer that it doesn't have a history of making original Zelda games, it gets a little bit into that. Blue Point can do a damn good remake of Demon Souls, but do we trust them to make like a actual original Souls game with Souls level design on their own? No, I'm saying you trust Blue Point, but that's the thing. They're completely unproven in terms of actual like game design, level design, combat design. You want to believe, but I'm saying they don't have doing visual remakes is not enough, right? And Grezzo was maybe in that position, but it sounds like maybe it's not Grezzo or not just Grezzo. I don't know. We don't know, but I'd be curious, right? Because I don't want to play a bad Zelda game. There was a time when Nintendo had Capcom develop a couple of Zelda games, and those are really awesome. And Namco's assisted with Zelda.
Grezzo did Triforce Heroes, says Frail Frame in chat. So was that a bad thing? Sorry.
It was a cool idea. It was a cool idea, at least.
Yeah. Like they wanted to follow up Four Swords somehow, so that was I guess Grezzo's logical extension of that. But I don't know. I'm looking forward to this.
I think we all are on some level.
This is going to be heavily guided, I'm sure.
Yeah, like we talked about in the trailer talk before the podcast recording. Like, to me, this is giving me like the vibes of the tool set they wanted to experiment with in Tears of the Kingdom, but with like Scribblenauts levels of possibilities for solving puzzles.
Scribblenauts levels. I mean, that's an extreme.
Scribblenauts, you can literally do anything.
Freedom.
This, you have limited options.
I see the Tears of the Kingdom stuff for sure.
Yeah.
Playful
playground of possibilities for puzzle solving, like in
another game coming out in what is now being dubbed
Fucktimber? Yeah.
Specifically in the first week or two of the front half of September.
It's just going to get delayed.
Something's going to get delayed. Something has to get delayed.
Well, let's be real, Nick. You're still going to be playing Shadow of the Erd Tree in September. So
no, let's be real. I'm going to be playing Star Wars Outlaws at this point when all these other games.
Let's be real. He's going to be playing Destiny and some other old ass.
Let's be real. I'm going to be playing Baldur's Gate 3.
No, go fuck.
Let's be real. He's going to be watching Smallville.
Okay, I'm going to be watching something. It's not Smallville though. It's going to be something else that I've probably watched 100 times. But I get your meaning.
24.
Well, that's all. That's my secret. I'm always watching Dexter. That's just endless loop.
That's just in the background. He's on a TV in the corner now.
It is a background. It is a show that I watch in the background a lot.
I will to move things along. I am very excited about that Zelda game, and of course, it's going to be a hot bid,
a hot ticket item.
I'm sure. Yeah, hot ticket item for sure for Fantasy Critic. As is Mario and Luigi, I'm sure. Lego Horizon Adventures.
We don't need to talk about this again.
We don't need to talk about it. I'm just saying it's a little weird to see Horizon in a Nintendo Direct. Strange.
It's a family-friendly game.
I want to call out Ace Attorney Investigations because these are the Miles Edgeworth Ace Attorney games that are kind of a little bit different in terms of like perspective. And they never actually officially localized the second game. It never came out here. And people who really go hard for the Ace Attorney series swear by these Edgeworth games. So it's cool that it's finally coming out. I love seeing stuff like that. Games that were never localized. I don't know why Mother 3 is not a thing. Crazy, absurd. I don't know. I don't get it.
Because there's one Nintendo executive out there that is just adamantly like, fuck the West.
There's a remake of Saga 2, which is strange. But it looks,
like a lot of Nintendo Directs, there's a handful of like strange projects.
I don't think this stuff is. It's strange that.
I mean, nice.
It's the second to last thing. Saga is like a Dragon Quest or something. It's like from what I understand, pretty popular in Japan, even though it never really caught on here. And pretty nice looking remake. And I guess they ended with there's some other stuff in there. I know some people are excited about the 100 line, and they even made a new Phantom Brave game, which is pretty wild. Which is
and a big Mario Party game. Don't forget Mario Party Jamboree.
Yeah, we don't
talk about that.
Don't
fucking
forget
War
Hello
Crime
Kitty
series.
Island Adventure.
There's stuff. Yeah. Look, there's stuff. It is actually overall a pretty good Nintendo Direct. Let me tell you, even if Silksong wasn't there, pretty impressive. Honestly, in terms of quality of summer showcases, I feel like Xbox nailed it, and I feel like Nintendo nailed it. And really, it was Sony that kind of didn't have anything that was. They didn't have enough of a lineup to kind of match up to these. But they ended with Prime 4. Finally, we get to see Metroid Prime. And Chris Ames, what do you want to say? Because I do got to kind of go off a little bit on this.
Okay, just really quick about the NSO games, the downloadable ports.
Yeah, there's some stuff.
There were a few things. There was like Metroid Zero Mission, and there was I think Link to the Past: Four Swords, which was kind of cool.
Zero Mission's a big one for sure. People
definitely, yeah. But they announced 2 Nintendo 64 games, both of them M-rated. It was Turok and Perfect Dark.
There are better versions of those games out there. Don't get.
I'm assuming that Turok game is just the Night Dive remaster.
No, it's not. It's the original game.
It's not.
This is their virtual console. This
is just that's right. I always forget that exists.
But no, this is the weird thing: is that Turok is the original Nintendo 64 version, but Perfect Dark it looks to be the remaster they did for the 360.
For the Rare collection?
For the Rare collection. Because like you go back and watch the footage, it's in 16:9. It's got cleaner textures. Like it's weird. Like remember how there was that whole kerfuffle over fucking GoldenEye? Microsoft basically finished a full remaster of GoldenEye, and Nintendo, because they own the license, wouldn't allow them to release it. So they spent years negotiating a deal, and what they came to was they would release just the Nintendo 64 version on both consoles, and the remaster would just go on a shelf, never to happen.
But
it ended up leaking.
These are supposed to be 64 ROMs. These are supposed to be 64 ROMs. I don't understand how it could be.
I mean, go look at that footage of Perfect Dark again, because that was running. It looked like you have very high frame rate. 16.
Oh, that's true. This was an expansion pack game. It was an expansion pack game. I think it supported that actually.
Also, real quick, I found it interesting that the M-rated Nintendo 64 games on the Switch are on their own separate app.
That's weird.
That
By the way, if anybody needs the ultimate cheat code for Turok, you know where to find me.
I think it's on a separate app because you have to have the enhanced bundle or the enhanced subscription or whatever.
Really?
To get those. Yeah, you have to have the more expensive tier to be able to play 64 games. Anyways, Metroid Prime 4, finally, this was announced with a title when the Switch was announced, right? Or shown for the first time. And then it was whoever was working on that originally, it kind of fell apart, and they rebooted development, and Rare stepped in to make Metroid Prime 4.
Not Rare,
Retro. That's what I meant. Retro. Who, of course, made the first 3 Metroid Prime games.
Okay, so are we
the last one came out in 2007 for the Wii. Okay, it is now 2024. Almost 20 fucking years.
Question. So, because I don't remember, when they first announced Metroid Prime 4, are you saying that was not originally going to be developed by Rare or by Retro?
Correct.
Well,
do we know who was developing it?
No, we don't. It stayed a mystery kind of for a long time. There's some rumors for a long time. Maybe it was like Namco or there's not a lot of info out there. But they just they restarted development. That was the basically the second announcement for Metroid Prime 4 is when they came out and said, "Hey, this shit we're restarting development. It's going to be years." Yeah. And it's been years. Fucking 17 years after the last Metroid Prime game, and
It was 2021. I think they announced the rework.
Yeah,
moving over to retro.
So I'm very excited. There's two huge takeaways for me. One is I'm glad it's 2025 because this is a game I did not want to play on the current Switch hardware. And because it's 2025, it tells me that it's going to be a cross-gen game, which I
this is most definitely a launch title for the Switch 2, right? Like that would make the most sense.
100%. It doesn't make sense for it to be anything else. And I do not want to play this thing on any but a brand spanking new Switch 2 whatever, right? Because, Metroid Prime, when you first saw Metroid Prime on the GameCube, it was like, this was the last console that had parity with the other hardware that was out there from the other big three. Metroid Prime was fucking gorgeous, man. And I just want a world where I can look at a Metroid Prime game and have it be gorgeous. And granted, it looked really nice for a Switch game in this trailer. But the second big takeaway was that I was super disappointed in the actual trailer. And I've kind of gone off on trailers before, but if you really look at it and break it down, they don't, like, you could have told someone who has no, like who's never seen Metroid Prime 2 or 3 and said this was like maybe like a remake of one of those, and they'd be like, that's fine, because there was nothing in this that didn't just look like some Metroid Prime 1 ass shit. Like you were just...
I was gonna say there was nothing to like sell you on the game. There was nothing that's like, here's the exciting new stuff that's been added to Metroid.
Nothing. The enemies, it was just your average fucking Metroid Prime, space fucking, space pirates. And, they even scanned a space pirate and said, hey, it's a space pirate. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It's the same shit she's been fighting forever. She's just using her regular blaster. The combat, like, it just moves like Metroid Prime combat. They don't show anything to like even...
It was nostalgia based.
Even suggest that there was, which might be fine, except they just released a remake of Metroid Prime 1. They didn't need nostalgia bait. What they needed is like, boom, we've been working on this for so many years. We rebooted it. It's back. How about show us some, first of all, the tone sucked. Like the music was a remix of the battle music from Metroid Prime, which is like probably the least good song in that game. There's so much good music in Metroid Prime. I don't want to hear a remix of the fucking battle theme, right? Like, this should have been very like atmospheric. It should have been a tone thing. They should have been showing environments and like visor stuff and droplets, reflections, like Metroid Prime. It's not just a fucking action game, right? It was like this wasn't a first person shooter. It was a first person adventure game, right?
Yeah, the trailer
it was Metroid in 3D, and this was just like, fighting a bunch of fucking space pirates, and nothing new here, no new beams, no new anything. Even the environment was just very standard Metroid Prime environment.
We expect all these things. It's the trailer that just didn't do a good job of showing it. It's
exactly.
Well, yeah, I feel like going to be a lot more in depth when the game comes out.
Absolutely,
like the scope Nintendo... or like a gimmick or anything that is fresh or new or different. It's been so long.
So King Carey in chat says this is more of a teaser compared to a trailer, which I do agree with, but at the same time, it feels more like a late game proof of life kind of thing.
Absolutely. I think
exactly.
The entire idea behind the design of this trailer was that after 7 years of troubled development, let's prove to the world that this Metroid Prime sequel not only exists, but matches to the design of the previous 3 games.
But the content of this and the way it's revealed, and even that weak ass logo and bad title, by the way,
Metroid Prime 4. Did they drop the 4, or is it just called Metroid Prime Beyond?
It's there.
It's still 4. It's Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, which is not a good title. I mean, what was like Echoes was good. Corruption was good. Beyond, that's a bad word, a bad title. I don't, whatever. But this doesn't feel like a game that's going to come out next March on a Switch 2. This feels like a game of like, look, man, we just barely got this shit up and running. I know we're not ready to show all the fancy new stuff. Like, is this even going to be like a one seamless world, or is it going to be more like Metroid Prime 3 where you're going to different planets and stuff? Like, we have no idea. We know nothing. Like I said, this could have been shown as a remake of any of the other Metroid Prime games, and to a less trained eye, I guess they might not have even questioned it, because it just looked like this is the definition of Metroid Prime, and here you go.
To me, the most interesting part of the trailer is the very end, which is where the camera's doing like a slow pan, and you see like this big lush like
But that's
jungle.
where it needed
It just
to
looks like
not
Palin Overworld. I mean,
continue
it,
going.
yeah,
Yeah,
it,
for
it,
sure.
it doesn't even look like a unique Metroid Prime environment, even though it was a nice like.
I mean, to me, Metroid is always been less about combat and more about just the exploration, like the actual quote unquote Metroidvania type exploration.
Metroid always,
and you didn't get any of that in this trailer.
Metroid always has a lush green environment as one of your introductory areas. Oh, you know, so
I mean, I'm not saying
Yeah,
this was
but
like an
even
unprecedented
a lot
thing.
of
I'm
the
just
combat
saying
was
it
like-
was of the things that they showed. That was the more interesting aspect to me, and it was really just the splash screen where they had the date, like the year. You know what I mean? I wanted to see more of that, but it is what it is. I'm glad to. I'm
I mean,
glad
that was the
glad
tone of what a Metroid Prime should be. You know, don't and like and you know it was the stuff they were showing could have been like fucking the phase on mines or something. Like when they were showing combat, it didn't look. You know, if you were trying to channel like an environment from Metroid Prime, do like some Phendrana Drifts kind of like really atmospheric, naturey, isolating stuff.
time
Oh,
we see
here's
this
the
game-
other thing. Here's the other thing. There was like a focus on like cutscene stuff and like a bad guy and like cutscene like that just reminds me of like the worst parts of like the third game, right? Like those first two games were very felt very isolating. It felt like it was just you in an alien world, and it was 3 when they started introducing or reintroducing all the hunters and stuff, and like characters were like talking and you were doing battles versus these hunters, and just the vibe. I didn't like that vibe for Metroid Prime. And this, they're like, I feel like they're hopping right back into that with this like bad guy protagonist. And it's just, like the bad guys from other Metroid games feel very like alien or ethereal even, or just very mystical. Like this is just, I'm a dude in a Metroid suit.
This
But
is a-
like
this
even
is a
like Dark
villain.
Samus was like Dark Samus from like Echoes or
From
whatever.
Echoes.
Or SAX, they're like creepy and weird and alien. And this is just, I'm a dude. And then they started playing like some metal music or something on the guitar, or like some, I don't know. The tone was off, like almost in a way that it was off for like Dragon Age for me. And just super excited about this project. Obviously, when I'm playing a new Metroid Prime game, I ain't going to be complaining, but I'm big on trailers and I'm big on reveals and I'm big on re-reveals. And like, that's when you're really supposed to like blow people away because they've been waiting, and I feel like, if Astrobot can pull it off, why can't we? Know Nintendo can throw trailers together, right? Like some of those like the Tears of the Kingdom trailers, and when they finally went off, they went hard, right? And I feel like Metroid deserved better than this. That's all.
I will say this: I think Metroid Prime 4 will eventually get its like Tears of the Kingdom trailer moment.
I think so.
that.
But
that's coming. It
after
just
watching
wasn't
this,
today.
it feels like 2 years away.
Do
It
you-
doesn't feel like a next spring game.
Yeah,
It does
it'll
feel
be
like
interesting.
it's beyond our reach.
Beyond. What a
And
bad,
with that,
what a bad. That's like putting Origins or Rising or something in your title. Beyond Metroid. Like beyond what? Give us a line. Like if this really is going beyond, show us something that doesn't look like a Metroid Prime tech demo.
But like
from
also
2002.
Echoes and Corruption, like those aren't that much better.
I think Corruption's a good subtitle.
Whatever. I mean, those feel like things happening in a Metroid story or universe, right?
Other M, like.
Oh, that one sucked. I didn't say Other M was
M
good.
is different.
That's a
Yeah, Other
spin-off.
M
That's
is
not a
different.
Metroid.
I'm just
Prime
talking
game.
about subtitles. I'm not even talking about the quality of the games.
Okay,
There
well,
should have been Metroid Prime 4,
that's not
Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you
M was
take
terrible.
Echoes, Corruption, and Beyond, there is an obvious weak link here.
Like, what's that
Beyond?
mean?
Beyond. Okay, let's move on. Impressive, strong, impressive Nintendo Direct. Very exciting. The rest of 2024 has filled out rather nicely, and it's only June, so there's probably still going to be plenty of other stuff that comes up between now and the end of the year. It's getting crazy out there.
After the end of announcement season, now it feels really good to have a good perspective on the rest of the year. Because if you would have asked us a month ago, like what to expect from this fall, like there were
Chris
some
Davis
big
clown
things, but
show.
a lot of smaller things were really questionable.
You're putting on clown makeup right now, Chris Davis.
This happens every year. Yeah, they're like, oh, the start of this year is great, but I don't know if we're gonna have video games in the second half of this year.
I'm just saying,
This
last
always
week-
happens. No one is
last
gonna.
week on this very podcast last week, Chris Davis said there's only like 3 games that he was interested, like really genuinely interested in playing, and
And
the,
then
for the rest of
E3
the year.
happens. Surprise!
That is an insane thing to me.
Well, I'm still on 3 games right now.
That's
Well, I mean, that's just you, dude.
No, that's just me. Like, I'm in financial
This-
lockdown right now. I'm having to pick and choose what I can play.
Okay, well,
Got
there's a
it.
difference
I
between
get it, but it's still there's still lots of video games.
there's a difference between like wanting to like be choosy because you're trying to save money right now, and like not just genuinely not being interested in a fuck ton of games that are coming out in the back half of 2024.
Yeah, I just,
Okay.
I'm having to prioritize. That's what I'm saying.
That's different. That's understandable. Okay, let's move on, shall we? Brad, thank you for leading us through the recap. I'm going to turn the table over to Nolan because you played a demo that you were clearly excited to talk about. It seems. Care to tell us about that?
Yeah, lots of demos in the Steam Next Fest. I've been checking out a couple,
Me
but
too.
this one really caught my eye. I know everyone here is fans of roguelike deck builders. And so
You gotta
I thought
steal
they
this
stopped
one
making
from me in
those.
Fantasy Critic, and it's gonna get a 92.
we'll see what happens. But I found another one that I was pretty interested in. I don't know if Chris Davis, do you have the footage of it?
It's ready. I'm just waiting for you to say the name.
No, it is called Dice and Fold.
Yeah,
Dice and Fold.
Yeah, and so it's a pretty unique zoomed in game. That you can see a very small fraction of it.
Yeah, I don't know
on
why
the
it's doing that.
footage.
Hang on one second.
Okay.
That's not what this looks like. Okay,
No.
gotcha.
So yeah, roguelike. The deck builder so far is fairly light in the demo. I don't know when that's going to come into play. Like kind of going into it. It's not like a monster train where you build out a deck and then you go. This is more so you start with a character, an adventurer, if you will. You can be like the queen or like I don't remember all the starting characters, like a warrior, and they all have different skills. And so you're going through this dungeon, rolling dice, and then trying to defeat enemies. And so the way you can either defeat them is by they'll have a number on their card that's like 8, 9, whatever, and you need to put that dice equal to that amount on that slot to reduce their HP. There are some cases where enemies require an exact number of dice, a little bit of RNG in there. Sometimes they need a 1, and you don't have a 1, so you can't do anything to that card.
So I saw you just
then-
put a dice that said 4 on a block that said 1.
So
And
yeah,
it
if
works.
the block,
At least
if it's
one,
like
I'm
the
sure.
if it's like the number 1, not the symbol, that's fine. It's just like think of it like HP. You're just trying to like knock that down. It's when it's
Okay.
the dice like symbol. So when the pips, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, gotcha.
Those ones need that exact number.
Gotcha. Okay.
And there are some, it gets more complicated than that. There are some that are any, there are some that later on in the run will be more complicated. Like you need to have like doubles or triples. They get a little more complex. But then there's also different dice. So you'll have the regular white dice, you have blue dice, which when you use those on your character or on your companion, those count for anything. And so if you're looking at the footage, you can see I have the queen companion, and in her like slots in the bottom, it was 7 and then a 1 pip dice. And so if I complete both of those, I can use their ability. So in this case, because I'm the queen, her ability is I choose an enemy and I complete one of their dice requirements. It doesn't matter what it is. It becomes completed, which is very helpful. You can use that later on when like enemies have a lot of HP. You can potentially knock that out, but you have to make sure you need that 1 pip die to complete that requirement. Blue die, no matter what, will just complete that requirement. They're
Right.
a little more rare to roll. And similarly, there's also red die that they can be used anywhere, but if you use them on your health, you gain that much health. that's kind of the basics of it. But you get into strategy, you get into like trying to do things. You can get similar to like a roguelike game. You'll find trinkets along the way that you can use. Some of them affect the way you roll die. Some of them affect the way you can regain health. I found one that I think at one point, like at the start of every battle, one random enemy, one of their die slots is completed. And I think I have that one in this run. All the companions, I don't know how many there are. There are a whole lot, and they all have different abilities that do different things. And so you'll randomly find them. I think twice through a run, you'll come across companion interactions, maybe 3 times, at least twice. This one I have right now, the cook. When I complete his skill, he will randomly create an item that is when used is what it's called. So when you're in the shop, you'll find when it's like, oh, when used, gain 4 health, or when used, do this. And so he just creates a random one. But I've had some that will heal you. I've had some that will silence enemies. So essentially it temporarily flips their card over so they can't attack this round. That being said, you also cannot do damage to them that round. And because it is a die-based game, timing and order of operations are very important. So when you want to do stuff on certain enemies, or when you want to certain die in certain places, and you can also get a little bit I want to say spammy, but there are certain times when it's like, oh, if you have an ability that lets you regain something, and you could kill all but one enemy and kind of try to force that to trigger. That being said, there are some skills that have the almost like a cooldown, like you can only use this once per battle, and I think they've kind of realized that, hey, you can kind of take advantage of things a little bit. But as you've seen as well, I'm also getting coins and stuff as you defeat enemies. And on the right hand side, you can see that there's a list of all the die, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you complete that, you get a gold coin. So you can essentially sacrifice one of your dies that you would normally use to either attack an enemy or work on your skill sets to start that little set. Which is very handy because then you can just get more gold, which allows you to buy more things in shops. One of the enemies, or one of the players I had earlier in a different run, I think the king, whenever you use his ability, he reduces all of the not all. I think it's a single. You get to I think it's all. I can't remember. But you get to reduce that die counter. So like right now, if you're looking at the enemy has like a 7 health or whatever, later on they're getting up into like 20, 30. Like they get to higher numbers, and he'll reduce that by the number of gold coins that you have. So you can like later on you can get it where you're knocking them down quite a bit. You get like abilities or items that it's like, oh, if you complete like if an enemy has like a 4 for their health remaining, I guess, in that slot, and you put a 4 die on there, you get that die back. So there's lots of little things where you can kind of mix and match abilities,
lots of layers.
Oh yeah, for sure. And also the RNG of it, you'll get different skills and abilities on each run when you come into these shops and stuff. Mm-hmm.
Is it like is it like one large adventure where you're doing multiple matches, or is like every time you start the game it's like a new run?
Sure. So there is a single run. You can see on the left, I'm on stage 10 out of 36. Once you get to 36, you'll you fight like the boss of this run. That's where the demo ends. So I've only ever fought one boss. But you also unlock some things that are now permanently unlocked for the rest of the game. But those don't unlock in the demo. I think they've kind of locked down quite a bit. There's also a whole lot of different player characters you can choose from, and there's only a subset in the demo.
Right.
And then, like I said, you don't unlock those like trinkets and abilities and stuff. So there's a lot that's yet to be seen. So I'm not sure. Find out more when the game comes out.
It's fun.
It's so first off, I do love the art style. I love the little characters and stuff. A lot of them have like kind of unique things. There's some enemies that when you defeat them, they turn into like a subversion of themselves. The final boss in the run is a what's it called? Oh my god, the serpent with the heads.
Hydra.
Blank. Thank you. A Hydra. I don't know. I don't know. I could not think of Hydra. Is a Hydra. So it's the main head, and then it has it's flanked by 4 smaller heads.
Like
and
this
if you
whole
were
second.
to, yeah, right. If you were to knock out one of those smaller heads, but not the main one, that small head will come back. So you're at like the pro con of, oh, I could probably knock out one of these small heads. He won't damage me this round, but he's gonna come back. I think after like a turn.
And you're sacrificing basically your chance to do damage to the main head.
But that main head does not have like 10 HP. I think it's a random kind of number, but it's like, oh, like 97, 111, and like 42. Like it's a decent chunk of health. You're not going to take him out in one run. And one of the other ones, I think the warrior, one of his special abilities is he adds another die to the pool. That's a gray die that you can put on yourself as armor. So you can tank more hits. So there's lots of little things that I think the demo is really scratching the surface of what this game is. Also, the music is really good.
When does this come out? Do we know, or is it?
I don't know if it has a release date. That is a good question that I probably should have looked up beforehand. I'm not sure off the top.
I mean, it is Steam Next Fest, so a lot of this stuff could be like next week, or it could be like a year away.
Yeah,
you never know.
I've played quite a few Next Fest games as well. Like, there's some cool stuff out there. I mean, there always is, but stuff that is coming out this year. So if you're looking for indies to like fill in gaps or whatever, like try out some
June
demos.
24th.
Ah, look at that! Literally next week.
Yeah. So definitely,
I recommend checking out the demo for the altars if you thought that was interesting from last week. Although is Next Fest over? Because some of the demos they stay up after Next Fest, some of them go away.
I think I opened up Steam earlier today and it still had the Steam Next Fest banner up, so I think it's still going.
If you downloaded a demo, typically they won't be removed from your computer.
That's not true.
I mean, that's why I said typically.
They'll switch to.
It depends on the demo, yeah.
Yeah, it just depends.
Which is strange because I feel like once somebody has access to your demo, I mean, I feel like that's probably at the discretion of the developer.
It just switches to purchase. Like I notice that happens all the time when I download a bunch of demos. Some of them stay and some of them switch to purchase after Next Fest ends.
Yeah.
Cool. This is called Dice and Fold, right?
Dice and Fold.
Dice and Fold. Very cool. All right. I said I wasn't gonna. I said at the beginning of the show, I was like, "Let's try and do this in one
Nick,
segment."
you had to put me last.
I lied. We're gonna do 2 segments. We're gonna take a short break, and when we come back, Brad is gonna tell us about a little game called Dragon Age Inquisition. I believe, right?
That,
but specifically the DLC, right? That was a DLC for Trespasser. And then Chris Davis, you have a scattershot of a few quick impressions, right?
Yeah,
that you wanted to mention
stuff. Yeah.
And then we'll do Fans or Critic and we'll wrap up. So if you're watching us live, don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this quick break.
Bye.
Let's see. $7.99, by the way.
Get ready, guys. Next week we're going to do a podcast that's going to last 800 minutes. I'm going to get some water. I'll be right back. Stop it.
We could also do an 800-second podcast.
It's not too bad. Kind of like that idea.
I mean, that's like 13, 14 minutes.
How long is
any of y'all on Windows 11?
I am.
You like that okay?
It's okay.
No,
I mean,
I got a big
I don't
pop
hate
up on my
it.
computer the other day.
A lot of it
saying Windows 10 is being deprecated and have to update.
The search is good. Everything else is suck shit.
I'm still on 10 because it's always one of those things where I remember when I was a kid, anytime a new OS came out or a big update, I was so excited. But now I'm just like, dude, it's gonna break all my shit, man. It's just gonna break everything.
I mean, it's gotten some nice updates. Like 7-zip files are now natively manageable. You know, small things, and there's a lot of customization you can make to where it functions exactly like 10.
Okay.
It's all the all like the Windows like control panel-y type stuff, like that stuff. Some of that stuff's so bad. Like how you manage like devices and shit. Ugh.
I even still on Windows 10 now, when I try to go manage that stuff, I'm just like, get me back to the fucking Windows 7 UI. Just get me back to it because that shit makes sense. The new stuff, they hide things from you. I think one of those things where they try to make it more user friendly, but because of that, like it like hides all of the stuff that's relevant. I never go into those menus and use that high level friendly UI stuff they give me. Every time I need to go in there, I automatically am trying to get to the lower like depth, more complex, let me actually do what I need to do menus, and it always is a challenge to get to them.
Yeah. I mean, I bookmark like the basic lo-fi control panel thing, so it's not a pain in the ass.
Not that doesn't exist for all of it. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Not everything, but like also the search can find it too. So I don't know. It's okay. I don't hate it. My initial problems with it were not related to Windows. It was just a bad stick of RAM.
Are you going somewhere, Chris Davis?
Like in a minute, or
like, are you going somewhere during this break?
I was going to get up and grab some water.
You should go.
I figured you'd like to not be alone.
No, I would like to be alone. I'd like to start sooner, so you should go.
Okay.
Plus, I could tell them how I really feel if you leave.
Oh, well, I can hear you the entire time, so yeah, that's not going to help you. Okay.
Sure,
I'll
you
be right
can.
back.
Sure, you can. Chris Davis is so stupid. I'm so glad he's gone.
I heard that.
All right, he's gone. We can talk about him now.
Oh my God. He's always got to talk about his financial woes. Why can't he be rich like the rest of us? Motherfucker bought Alone in the Dark at full price.
Oh, R.I.P.
Oh, wait, no, he had a coupon.
Hey, is that going to go on sale now? Sorry.
I heard there's like a big update or something. I heard the combat's as good as Resident Evil 2 Remake.
Shut the fuck up.
Like
Shut
encounter
the front
design
door.
and everything.
Nope, it's still $59.99.
That's it, really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Waiting for the sale. It's gone on sale once. I just didn't. I was like, I don't need anything else right now. Steam Next Fest is still happening, FYI.
Yeah. No, I have actually been playing quite a bit of stuff. It's cool. Cool stuff.
Man, I'm juggling so much stuff. Fuck.
The one I couldn't really grok was Metal Slug Tactics. It really threw me off that game is a roguelike and a challenging one. I thought it was just going to be a nice little tactical jaunt through the Metal Slug universe, but no, they're trying to make it's a roguelike. It's crazy. Who's even making that? I don't fucking know.
Who knows?
Well, it's the same. I don't know. This developer is making another strategy game that's in early access right now called Synergy, I think. That's kind of popping up, but I'm guessing they're different teams. I don't know.
There's a demo for Mirthwood.
Mirthwood looks pretty cool. Kind of like a 2D Elder Scrolls, although you don't respond well to 2D, so...
I respond well to 2D when it's actually 2D.
But what does 2D mean to you? It means sprites?
No, it means moving left to right.
Side scrolling. So
Side-scrolling,
you
yes.
refer to side scrolling as 2D.
Yes.
2D, the shorthand that 2D, yeah. Look, when a franchise goes from 2D to 3D, which by the way, we called it 2D when 3D started to happen. Yeah, the ones that are still in the old design, people just call it 2D. And you say like there's a single
because the cool kids are doing it. Is that what
there's
you're
a
saying?
single plane, right, in a side-scrolling game, right? But like more or less, like the plane is just shifted when it's isometric. You're still locked to that plane, basically, more or less.
I can move around in multiple directions.
Yeah, but you don't go up. You don't really go up or down. You're stuck to that plane. You can't handle the Ds. It's true. It really did say rumored 2D Zelda game on Fantasy Critic, which is funny. I know because I put a bid on it before they changed the title over today. I put a bid on a rumored 2D Zelda game.
Okay. We didn't talk about it, but I didn't know about that Metal Slug Tower defense game.
Don't worry about it.
Oh, really?
It's like a shitty free to play. It's a re-release of a shitty free to play mobile game, I think. Maybe it's not shitty. I don't know. But it did look cool until I found out what it was. I think it was like a phone game or something. Free to play, I think. I do want to talk about Fantasy Critic because I feel like the coolest thing we did this year was do the super drop because it leads to tough choices. And I like being in the middle of the year going, do I really want to spend that $40? Because now there's some shit to spend my money on. And how badly do these other people need that super drop? Yeah, it's interesting.
So in the interest of time, just keep that in mind because Fantasy Critic's going to be.
Oh, you're saying we need to rush through my game that we always do last?
I'm more worried. Well, Chris Davis has 3 games.
They're
but you said you
mentions. I'm not even going to show footage for them.
Okay. So I'll do.
Like
Brad,
one of them Brad might be interested in it.
Mine is not extensive at all. I mean, mine is,
I know, but when you get it going on Dragon Age, you can.
I know. That's why I do want to talk about it on the podcast, is because Dragon Age is a game, a series that I enjoy. It is relevant to this year, although I think that game's going to slip. I feel like some of these games are definitely going to slip, and I feel like Dragon Age is a perfect one. Like, to me, it just feels like February. It just has a February smell to it. Also,
it's weird. I have games like that too, where I'm like, this definitely seems
There's
like
no way,
this
right?
month for some reason. I don't know.
When a series has been gone for 10 years, really, what is a few more months just to squash some more bugs, right? I mean, as opposed to like that Assassin's Creed game that's coming, right? Ubisoft is a machine that knows how to ship games in November, right? So like that's not a game I would see slipping necessarily, but there are definitely, in like most Japanese studios, when they announce a game, I don't usually expect that stuff to slip. But from like most Western publishers that aren't like an Ubisoft or like a game that a publisher that is used to putting out like yearly entries, or at least had in the past, right? Those games are gonna make it. Like Assassin's Creed will make it. Outlaws, if that gets pushed, I could see that getting pushed, right? But although that one's sooner,
that's August.
Oh, it's August, so that's pretty soon. The sooner it is, the more likely. But like the games out there that just say in 2024 right now, I ain't so sure. Does Avowed have a specific date?
Not yet.
Nope. See, that also seems like a kind of game that could easily slip to like a February, right? It just has it written all over it.
It could.
So, I don't know. Obviously, the season is getting more full too. That's the thing, right? It happens.
I have more than enough to keep me busy for the rest of the year.
Of course. I mean, I always do.
I mean, if we all delved into our backlogs, we'd be good for the next 20 years.
For sure. All right. We ready?
Oops. I am recording.
1 second. Close this.
Why do you sound like you're 1,000 feet away now?
Because I moved my microwave for a second to grab my stuff. Now I'm back.
Carlos is calling you out, Brad. You never finished Crow Country. Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't finish a lot of games. What's your problem? What do you mean?
He had children. That's his excuse.
I feel like even before I had children, there was plenty of games I just didn't finish.
Conscript isn't out yet, right?
Sometimes I play a game and I'm like, oh, I really like this game. I'm going to move on to something new. I'm going to come back to it. And a lot of times I do go back to a game. And sometimes I'm like, I feel like I got everything I wanted out of that game. Like something like Crow Country, for example. I don't think like some revelatory shit's going to happen for me finishing that game. I think the most appealing thing to me from that game was how it looked. And I definitely played some of it and it's like cool, but like, I don't think all of a sudden it's going to be what I have not yet played of that game is going to all suddenly make it my favorite game or whatever. It's cool game. But now if someone were to tell me like, no, just wait till you get to the second half, some crazy shit happens.
It's just some classic ass survival horror. They don't really make that kind of game much anymore.
Fuck you, Nick. They make it all the time. There's so many games that are just this.
But they're not as good. They're not as well honed.
Yeah, but you said that like it's not one of the most popular indie genres. It just is. It's like Metroidvania, roguelike deck builder, and a lot of those are survival horror games. Like, believe it, talk to Chai Tai or Carlos and tell that to them with this.
Look, I don't need people telling me that, like, you're forgetting about all these other like games. I'm talking about games that are like critically acclaimed, just super well-honed, crafted experiences.
Critically acclaimed. You would be fucking surprised, Nick. You would be surprised. What do you know about what is that? Hey, Carlos, what is that horror game developer that puts out those? God, I feel like they do one like every year, like Puppet Combo. Nick, what do you know about Puppet Combo?
Nothing.
Exactly. I'm recording here. Are we good to go?
I am recording.
Sure. I am recording. No one, you recording?
Nick, in your professional opinion, do you think I would like Signalis?
What does that mean?
What is your opinion about like traditional, like old school survival horror? And second, do you like science fiction?
I mean, I really like science fiction. And Resident Evil 3, the original, is on my top 10 list of all time. So
okay, well, Resident Evil 3. Now you lost
Resident Evil 3.
How do you feel about Resident Evil 1?
Yeah, Resident Evil 3 is probably not the one I would name drop here.
Yes, you would like it. Yes, you would like it. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right.
Everybody likes Signalis.
Roll call starts now. Brad.
Hello.
Nolan.
I am Nolan, and I am doing a roll call for the second half of the show.
Chris Davis.
And this is Chris. I, too, am doing a roll call for the second half of the show.
Wonderful. Welcome back, everybody. Video games. We're here to talk about them. I'm going to hand it over to Brad to talk to us.
Hey, what's up? I've been playing a lot of things, a lot of stuff from that Next Fest, but I guess the one I wanted to bring to the podcast is Dragon Age Inquisition. The
Do we have footage of this?
DLC. Yeah, I've got footage.
Okay. I didn't see any conversations in the Discord about.
I wanted to show footage. I want to talk about it a little bit because it's a Dragon Age kind of time right now.
That is a fact.
UI, this is very like of this era. There was a lot of like Destiny ruined UI for a lot of.
I don't disagree with that. Yes, someone who just started Destiny 2, I mean, I totally fucking agree.
The UI,
the floaty cursor is just.
This wasn't the floaty cursor. Well, this is just like the big boxes with like the different colors of loot. It's just anyways, so I've long heard that the Trespasser DLC for this is really good. Dragon Age Inquisition is a game I liked. I had a lot of like, Dragon Age Origins is my baby, right? And this is a series that has been like trying to, even though that game sold really well and people adored it, they like EA BioWare has been like trying to escape its nerdy past or whatever, right?
I mean, is it just weird? Is Dragon Age a series that has never had like two games that are like?
I disagreed with you on this last week, and I'll disagree with you again. That's true. We had this conversation, and I think there's a very natural evolution of what Dragon Age is in Origins when you play with the controller on a console. That's the thing. Or you can play it on PC. Now, some people played Origins very differently. They played it like an old school Baldur's Gate game, with that perspective, isometric. Like you could play that game entirely isometric view, tactical game. You're pausing real time with pause. You're commanding your units. A lot of people, but this was also an era where Western RPGs were kind of blowing up on consoles, and Dragon Age Origins was a big game for 360. That kind of RPG, but like the perspective was very different. The camera was kind of down below you, and it wasn't really like you could hit the button, but it was mostly just sort of like starting and auto attacking, but you were just kind of actually like aiming spells and stuff. But it felt very different. And I feel like Dragon Age was a natural evolution of playing Origins like that. And they continually made attempts to speed it up, but it was still at its core, when you do a fireball, it's going to freeze time and you're going to put that circle over where you want to throw that fireball. And then you're going to release. And it's still that they just kept speeding it up, and they changed encounter design a little bit. But this is still a full like party RPG. Every single character has deep skill trees, in these classes, and you can switch to any of these characters mid combat. Like it's still very different than like a Mass Effect kind of thing. And I really wanted to pop back into this to kind of remind myself how Inquisition played.
You pick up so I don't know how this DLC worked. Did you pick up your original character from when you first played this?
Yeah, absolutely. Because this is a post-game DLC, and honestly, after playing it, it's kind of like the real ending to Dragon Age Inquisition, and the story that completely sets up where they were going after this. For a long time, Dragon Age 4 was called Dragon Age Dreadwolf, specifically referring to like the big twist at the end of Dragon Age Inquisition, which is where what the story that the DLC covers is that you find out that Solus is no.
I've never played it. I've never played it.
It doesn't matter because it's already happening at the start of Dragon Age 4, which we've seen now. You find out that Solus, who's just a regular companion in Dragon Age Inquisition, is the Dreadwolf, which is like some ancient elven god, basically. And he's trying to unmake the world, or he's trying to pull down the veil. That's the whole premise. It's the whole setup for Veilguard, because he saved the world a long time ago by creating the veil that locked all these like evil ancient mage wannabe gods away, and that saved the world. And but he basically it led to basically not the destruction, but it basically destroyed the elven homeworld, and a lot of elves ended up losing their powers and basically ended up in servitude. And he's basically realizing the error of his ways, and he's trying to undo what he did before, which is basically going to lead to the destruction of our human world, human and other thing world, basically the current world of Dragon Age. He's trying to, what he's doing would lead to the destruction of that. So his buddies from Inquisition and everybody else are saying, you're like our homie. You could have even romanced him and stuff, but you can't do this.
So what you're saying is,
so we're going to have to stop you.
What you're saying is I picked the wrong Dragon Age to skip.
No. Well, I mean, sure, or whatever. You played through Dragon Age 2?
Yeah, I played through Dragon Age Origins and 2. And I played about 10 hours.
I feel like a lot of people
Inquisition.
fell off this game. I feel like a lot of people fell off.
Well, I spent 10 hours in the hinterlands and was like, I can't keep going.
The crazy part about this DLC is it literally ends with Solus saying, "Oh, by the way, I'm the Dreadwolf. If you didn't figure it out, and I'm gonna take down the veil and completely fuck up this world." And you're like, "You can't fucking do that. We're gonna fucking stop you." And it's like, "We're gonna find you and we're gonna stop you." And then credits roll. Real ending to Dragon Age Inquisition. And the start of Dragon Age 4 is literally we found Solus. It could have been next week after this ended, but it was 10 years, right? Or whatever. And it's literally the start is, oh, we found Solus. He's trying to do the thing he said he was going to do 10 years ago. And here he is. And we're going to stop him now. It's funny because it feels like it could have been the next day, which is fine. Whatever. It could have been the same day, really.
Well, I think that was mostly, they chose that because they wanted they wanted that connective tissue there. Because a lot of people who've been waiting for Dragon Age 4 for so long have been waiting specifically to see how the Solus thing plays out.
But see, if you listen to the devs for why they changed the title, is they said they want to change the title from Dreadwolf to Veilguard because they don't want the focus to be on Solus. They want it to be on the characters you play as, the team. And what I'm worried about is that there's been a pivot in terms of Solus's importance to the story and that there's going to be like some other big focus, which is fine, especially because they're going into the shit like right at the start of Dragon Age 4. I'm a little worried that it is actually just going to be kind of a minor part and there's all this whole other story thing, which is fine. I mean, I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. One of the things I found out, because I didn't have a romance option, at least I thought I didn't romance any of the playable companions in Dragon Age Inquisition, because the one that I tried to romance was like, nah, she kind of turned me down. So I'm like, I guess I don't really care. But in terms of like where the story thinks, the story has me was in a relationship with Harding, who was a dwarven scout. You didn't play as her in Inquisition, but she was like one of the main like characters at your castle or whatever, who would like, she would do stuff for you as part of the Inquisition. And that's the character I apparently romanced according to the story. I guess if you don't find a companion, that's the one you end up romancing for canon reasons. But she's one of the playable companions in Dragon Age 4. So I'm like, oh, I guess that's cool. That's my romance option. That's kind of neat.
Problem solved.
And the cool thing is
interesting that there's dinosaurs in here.
And the original, it's cool that there's romance options carried over from the previous games. Like Leliana, she's in all 3 games. And I romanced her as my Grey Warden romanced her in the first Dragon Age.
Yes.
So it's cool that she references that relationship. And I'm like, well, it's why I didn't romance her in Inquisition, because she was in a relationship with my Dragon Age Origins character. And I'm like, I can't break up that relationship. I carried that save data over, you know? But anyways, it's nice to go back. I still have a lot of my Dooku'd. I still have a lot of my. He might get Count Dooku'd, unfortunately. I'm worried about it. Because, you know, I feel like even this is how it was with the Mass Effect games, right? It's like, and we talked a little bit about it last week, your attachment to like those characters and those relationships from the previous games, them carrying over, those relationships like changing and becoming deeper or like different, is one of like the hooks of a continuing storyline like this. So I like the idea of a companion character from the previous game becoming such a major character in terms of the story. So if they really do Dooku him, I'm going to be bummed out. You know, because that also happened to me going from books to games, because I've read 5 Dragon Age books, and not only did I play through the Trespasser DLC, I also started the one Dragon Age book that I had not read.
Oh man, Brad's going deep. He's going all
Dragon
in.
Age. Now, all that to say, I'm still very
nervous
about this new one coming out.
I think we all are to some extent.
Because, you know, it is. So the argument that I've seen people kind of falling back on, that's kind of giving people like, maybe things are going to be all right, is that, look, this ain't a party-based RPG anymore. Obviously, it's a much more of an action thing. You know, you're only going to have 2 companions, and you're just going to be able to pull up their abilities with, you know, the scroll wheels, and you're not going to like, they don't have full skill trees or whatever. But is what Mass Effect was, at least ultimately, and people still like Mass Effect. So like the argument is like, well, if you still like Mass Effect, maybe you'll still like this too. And I'm like, that might be true, but also I expect Dragon Age to be a different thing, and I don't like that they're just trying to fall back on this other thing that they know fans really like in Mass Effect. So I don't want it to
let the two things be different.
Let the 2 things be different, because Dragon Age Origins was a spiritual successor to the original Baldur's Gate. And let me tell you, Baldur's Gate, like Baldur's Gate 3, is a very different. But I mean, at least Baldur's Gate 3 exists and it's cool. So maybe it's okay that it is different, but you know,
we live in a world where I think the mere existence of Baldur's Gate 3 is going to, in some ways, like soften the blow a little bit if Dragon Age 4 really has gone too far towards action.
There's maybe I talked about it last week. There's not a single critic on the planet, or maybe this is getting, I don't want to get into like fancy critic or whatever. There's not a single critic on the planet that is not going to be thinking about Baldur's Gate when they're reviewing this game. And there's a lot of things that Baldur's Gate did in terms of like choice and narrative choice and role playing, and obviously like the companions and like all this good BioWare stuff, but just in terms of like freedom, in terms of like quest design, like, yo, I'm just gonna like burn down this door, right? Or I'm gonna like find a way to like use an ability to sneak in through the back. It was so there's like a simulation there. You had like so many options in terms of like mechanics to kind of solve quests the way you want, and you had the freedom to, and the game would respond to the way you're doing it. I popped this shit back in, and it was that fucking scroll wheel, man, and there's just not much there. And Dragon Age 4 has the same one where it's like, do you want to pick this response where it says one thing but you're actually going to say something else? Or this other thing, which is kind of similar, and maybe it's a little like funnier, but you're still saying the same shit, and it just feels like it doesn't really matter. And then there's the investigate options on the left if you just want to talk to someone a little more. And that's so not where I think modern dialogue is, even outside of Baldur's Gate. It feels, I'm worried that Dragon Age 4 is going to be pretty, but also feel really dated and kind of simple. So I am depending on, yes. I'm depending on the story being good and the companions being good, because I'm worried that it might be like a fun action game. I don't know if I said it last week either, but like I've been talking to Dragon Age a lot in a lot of different places. There's some Discords that it's become a joke when Brad starts talking about Dragon Age. They just want me to go away. Yeah. Try to bring up Dragon Age in the Fantasy Critic Discord. No, everyone's going to be looking around for Brad. Shh, keep it down. Yeah. So I think it could become a fun action game, but like I'm saying, I don't want a new Kingdoms of Amalur, which is, if this is a good action RPG, it might feel more like a new Kingdoms of Amalur game than a Dragon Age game. But, some people, that will absolutely be satisfying for them.
Sure.
But you know what? This Trespasser DLC, if you still have Inquisition and you just kind of want to like get back into the Dragon Age mood and don't necessarily want to read a book, this is I feel like this is essential viewing. If you've played Inquisition and you are going to play Dragon Age 4 and you have
as
not
someone
played
who
this
has
DLC,
not played Inquisition and has every intention of playing Dragon Age 4, I feel like I should find time to play Inquisition.
You're not going to play through Inquisition. You're just not. It's a huge bloated game. It really is. It's just you're gonna need to find a nice YouTube video, dude.
But I wanna.
I mean, this was for the time in which BioWare was being forced to put out a lot of bloatware. Like, remember what happened with Mass Effect Andromeda? Remember what happened with fucking Anthem?
So that was where, and this is why I'm a little worried about Dragon Age 4, right? Just because don't let anyone tell you that like something like Baldur's Gate just existing won't affect the reviews, because that absolutely happened with Dragon Age. A few months after Inquisition came out, this got good reviews. After a few months after it came out, The Witcher 3 came out, and all of a sudden, this game became a laughing stock. Like the side quest design of just like picking up random shit and turning in bullshit. Like people started making fun of this shit. And Andromeda was basically the Mass Effect take on Dragon Age Inquisition. And when that came out, everyone was like, dude, we're not cool with this anymore. Our standards have been raised by The Witcher and other stuff. And like this design, we were trying to tell y'all back then that this isn't cool anymore when Witcher 3 dropped, and y'all made the same kind of open world bloated thing with Mass Effect where like this kind of the side quest design.
You gotta imagine they were probably far enough along in development on Andromeda that it was maybe too late to put the
No, you're right. But I'm saying the difference is this game scored in like the mid to high 80s and Andromeda's like low 70s, and like in terms of actual like design, they're really not all that different. So like standards change. I mean, we talked about it with like Dragon's Dogma, right? The people changed, not the game, and it shot up 15 fucking points. So
I mean, one thing's for certain: when Dragon Age, the Veilguard, is it the Veilguard or Veilguard, whatever?
The Veilguard, unfortunately.
When Dragon Age the Veilguard releases, it's going to be fascinating to see what transpires.
I will be playing it and shouting from the rooftops about it, of course. I'm still very excited.
I'm gonna play it too.
But I'm nervous. I want them to show the game in a way that's going to make me happy, because, again, I was a little disappointed with the reveal, but there's been stuff out there. Like
there's a
RPG
Game
Site did an interview
out now, isn't it?
RPG Site did an interview with them where they kind of broke down like, look, man, the skill system is it's really deep. We got a big skill tree. It's inspired by stuff like Final Fantasy X, but also the license board from Final Fantasy 12, which is like,
I like both of those things.
It was nice to hear, but then I see stuff like, oh, this is a mission-based game. And you know what I don't want to hear in my Dragon Age game? It being called mission-based. That reminds me of like Mass Effect 3, which is fine for like a spacefaring game where you're touching down on a planet. Even then, I kind of didn't like how fleeting some of the trips to some of those planets felt. But like, again, that felt like a game that should have missions. Dragon, like a fantasy RPG, feels like is about exploring nature. I want to exist in a world. I don't want to go on missions and go back. And more details came out like today where you're going to be in like kind of inside the Fade and kind of like a hub, and you're going to be traveling to different places via the Alluvian mirrors.
It's like Destiny.
And to do missions. And like, that's a word that I don't want in my fantasy game. Get that gross word out of here. Missions. Call them quests or something. How dare you call them missions? We know it's going to be much more linear, and it's not going to have any of that open world stuff from Inquisition. It is going to go back to, it's probably going to be very Mass Effect, because even like Origins, it was like KOTOR. You go to like you don't go to planets, but in KOTOR, you go to a planet and you're in a space, man. You're like talking to people. There might be a local town. You're going to go out into that world a little bit, but you sort of inhabited that space for a while. While like Mass Effect 3, touch down on a planet, watch some cutscenes, fucking
shoot some bitches,
shoot some way down some corridors, some more cutscenes, and then you're fucking out of there. And I don't want that for Dragon Age. I do not. Anyways, I'm going to shut up now. Thank you. I got to talk about my Dragon Age. Thank you. I'm done.
No. It was great revisiting Inquisition a little bit before 4. Okay, I want to turn it over to Chris Davis real quick. You said you had 3 quick mentions
to
get through before.
Yeah, there's.
I only say that because we got some fancy Critic to talk about. It's going to be interesting. What are these 3 games? Are these like full blown games? Are these demos you've been playing? What's going on?
One is a DLC, 2 are games. The obvious one, the DLC, is the Night Springs DLC for Alan Wake 2.
That's why you asked me, and I
feel like a quick mention.
What the fuck?
I mean, it's a quick mention because it's actually very quick content. Like, you can blow through all that content in 2 hours.
I did download it. I did install
2 hours? And you play as 3 different characters?
Yeah, it's 3 different episodes. Each can maybe be done in 30-45 minutes. Like, it's really quick. Like, they're all standalone quote unquote stories that are told from certain characters' perspectives.
I mean, which is not totally surprising considering it's a free DLC for. Yeah. Well, I guess it's only free if you got the deluxe edition.
Yeah, which I did. I forgot I did. Like, I went to look into
As
it.
did I. I also pre-ordered the deluxe edition physical.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm gonna wait on that. I'm not a fan of the idea of paying $80 for that, a year and a half after launch. Anyway, no, it's good content. Like I said, it's short. The problem is that there's 0 challenge in this content,
which is surprising because that game could get pretty challenging at times.
Yes, it can. This game is
not
challenging.
It wasn't a gameplay first kind of game, right? It was an experience-y kind of game.
Dude, that game is Alan Wake 2 is heavy on the gameplay.
Yeah. No,
that game got hard.
You're not there for combat. You're there for that experience.
I'm there for both. Dude, I'm there for both. Alan Wake 2 combat's fantastic.
So what
is it as good as Alone in the Darks?
Shut the fuck up.
Brad, please, for the love of God, either play Alone in the Dark or shut the fuck up about it. Now, what is one of the central tenet pillars of survival horror game design? It's ammo management and resource management and knowing when to pick and choose your battles. This game, this DLC content gives you the fully upgraded weapons with all the ammo in the fucking world. You get more ammo in one of these episodes, in all 3 of these episodes, than you get through the entire fucking rest of Alan Wake 2.
So this is more of just a combat. These are like funny alternate scenarios with like several of the key characters or the side characters, right? Well, is there at least like clever writing and like stuff going on there? Or?
I mean, kinda like they're.
Do I need to play this or not play this?
Wait, you're saying the writing and stuff isn't clever? I mean, this is Alan Wake.
It sounds like a combat gauntlet, which I'm not really interested in.
I mean, it's just a fucking power fantasy within Alan Wake 2, in which you're just mowing down waves upon waves of enemies to complete a very small story. Here's the thing: is that the story. There are 3 individual unique stories set within the content of Night Springs, which is basically the Twilight Zone. So you get these familiar characters in familiar environments, but the storyline for them is completely disconnected from Alan Wake and the rest of the franchise.
Oh, but is it fun? Like, is the story fun? The characters fun? Because you play as Rose and stuff, right?
Yeah, you play as Rose, and she's living out this fantasy of being in love with Alan Wake, and so she's going to go rescue him, who's been trapped by his evil twin brother in the woods.
But are you saying when I called this a mercenaries mode and Nick was like, how dare you? Maybe I was more spot on.
This is not a mercenaries mode. This is literally you go point A to point B with all the fucking power and ammo in the world, and you complete a very small story.
I mean, that sounds like a mercenaries mode.
I feel like I'm not, I don't want to be that guy, and I know I'm not like
but you're gonna.
remedy pilled like y'all, but I feel like sometimes their DLC, like I heard the Control DLC was kind of whatever. And
No, the Control DLC was pretty
good.
significant. In fact, the Control DLC is what kind of gave us our first look at Alan Wake 2 in the first place.
Yes.
And that was really cool. That was a really cool way of doing that. Like, I think the way those two universes are kind of linked intrinsically now is actually really neat. And that was all part of the Control DLC.
That Control DLC focused on Alan Wake was basically a full-on epilogue to the original game.
Here's the thing. I fully intend to play this Night Springs DLC, but I also don't... when I go back to Alan Wake 2, I'm going back with the intention of playing through the final draft.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which is a much bigger endeavor than Night Springs.
But
I didn't install it, so...
The final draft for what they do with the narrative is kind of, in my opinion, transformative of the original game. Like, it makes the game so much better.
That's kind of what I hear.
The New Game Plus? What are y'all talking about?
It's a New Game Plus, but it has like a additional story content. I guess a new ending, a different ending.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So So what are the other two games?
One of the other ones was I started playing before I put it down for a little bit because I found this third game. I started playing Indivisible.
Indivisible. Oh, is that that really colorful like side scroll? Is it a
the
side
Valkyrie
scroll?
profile, like indie Valkyrie profile?
Oh yeah.
Had this nice art style to it. You played as one character who
it's from the
controls
Skull
multiple
Girls,
characters. Yeah, the Skull Girls developers.
developer.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, came out in 2017. It was a while back. I don't know. It's fun. I like what they're doing with it. I love the art style. The Metroidvania the Metroidvania aspects really haven't hit just yet from where I'm at. I'm only 6 or 7 hours in. So I'm still getting my sea legs with it. It was kind of cool to see Michael Dorn show up as the primary antagonist.
Who's Michael Dorn?
He's Worf in Star Trek.
You would. Yeah,
yeah. I would. I don't know that nerd shit.
You're not a Star Trek guy.
He has a very distinct voice. So like I immediately caught it. I don't know. It's fun. I'm liking it. I just wish that my third game that came around wasn't probably 100 hours long, which is Rise of the Ronin.
The game that I lent you.
Yeah, I borrowed it.
Lent him a game?
Huh?
Yeah.
I feel like this is.
Well, I was out of town for the weekend, and he came over to help feed my cats, and I was like, he's like, can I borrow it? I was like,
for 100 hours.
Yeah,
how much Rise of the Ronin have you played?
About 20 hours now.
Holy fat shit!
Do you know you're supposed to parry the red stuff?
Shut up, Brad.
Yes, I figured that out.
It's only because I made the mistake first.
My problem is that I've played 20 hours of it, and I just finished chapter 1. So I'm like, oh fuck.
I didn't expect to get. So were you clearing out areas?
100% I was, yeah.
See, I was doing that too, and I never do that shit. And I was like, there's something this game is doing right. Now, it's not like brilliant design, let me tell you. It's not. And it can be very repetitive, but there's so little friction to doing anything in that game that I just got like, I might as well clear out this area. I'm just going to keep going.
The traversal's really fun. The glider makes it really interesting.
And there's 2 more maps that are bigger than that first.
Okay, well, I just got to Edo, so I just got proper access to the second map. So That's why I'm worried about saying
cut
it's a
out the
100-hour
side
game
stuff
to me.
because I feel like there's no way I would keep that pace going to all those different areas. I think I'm eventually just gonna. So can I ask you? Because I feel like in that first act, it's very easy to go, well, I would never be pro shogunate, right? Like all of these people who are anti shogunate, these seem like my homies.
Same here.
There is no reason I would ever be pro shogunate. And then you get to act 2 and you're like, oh damn. Maybe I am pro shogunate, which is cool, which is unexpected that I'm invested in characters in a Team Ninja game. Because let me tell you, I have never been invested in characters in a Team Ninja game. These are the people that ruined Samus.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I mean, like I was worried about playing this game because I had such a bad reaction to Wolong, and like Neo, that original alpha demo really put a bad taste in my mouth about it. So I'd been kind of worried about modern Team Ninja for a while. That's why I wanted to borrow the game from Nick rather than spend all the money. But I am really enjoying myself with this.
Would you like to buy it from me?
Nick,
you've got to play this game.
Points if he buys your game. Are the points tied to your copy of the game? Chris Davis can officially start earning points, or anybody can just buy Japanese games from you and start earning points.
Yes, that's exactly how that should work.
You reach 10 points before you do, it locks you in as a racist. But the twist is they have to buy your copies of those Japanese games you don't want to play.
Oh man, I'm sure the community would get in on that.
Well, I feel almost like Nick should lose points for selling a Japanese game.
Do it, Nolan. Buy his copy of Unicorn Overlord. It's really good.
I don't.
You get 5 points for that.
I don't own Unicorn Overlord.
Damn you, Nick.
You should own. Everyone should own Unicorn Overlord. That's a great game. No, Rise of the Ronin. I'm really having fun with it. I was not expecting a deep story. With the amount of player freedom to explore 2 different factions, how you can swap in and out between the different storylines, and then when you get the ability to actually go back and change the timeline, like that's cool. Really fucking interesting.
These are all things I didn't know existed.
Oh cool. Yeah, there's a ton of things.
I talked about these things, Nick. Or maybe when I first talked about Rise of the Ronin, so they don't unlock the going back to like make different timeline decisions until you get to Act 2, and maybe I wasn't in Act 2 yet.
Yeah, that's the case. Yeah,
it's cool. And it's not nearly as Zlayden chat says games are too difficult for me. Rise of the Ronin not only does it have difficulty settings, but even on the default difficulty, nowhere near as difficult as the Neo games.
That's my thing, is that like I have had plenty of instances in which I have had to restart an encounter, but it's immediately at that encounter, so it's not nearly Souls-like in the challenge there. Also, like it's very lenient, I feel, in the combat. Like it gives you a lot of signs where you can figure out your patterns.
Although the boss fight at the end of Act 1 is horseshit.
Yeah, that second phase kind of comes out of nowhere.
In the weeds, guys.
It was a little rough.
I don't know. He keeps these games secret, and then he's like, "Oh, by the way,
it's funny.
I thought he was going to talk about 3 random demos from the next fest or whatever." But he doesn't tell us, so we just have to guess.
I'm surprised I didn't see Rise of the Ronin coming, considering I lent him the game.
Yeah, you did. Like I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Whoops,
like I wanted something to play aside in the same time that y'all are playing Erdtree. So.
Gotcha.
Erdtree. We need to talk about that. When I was on the Trespasser DLC and he was talking about DLC, the thing I kept saying is, or the thing I was going to say is that I almost never go back to play DLC. Usually it could be a game I love, but once I put that game down and I'm kind of moving on to other things, it's hard for me to go back to a game just to play some DLC.
It's hard for me to do that as well.
Erdtree is significant, but I've never played all the way through a From Software DLC. I mean, there's games I adore. I still have not played through Blood and Wine. So even playing through Trespasser is a big deal for me. I've always told myself I wanted to do that, but it wasn't till the excitement.
Are you going to play Erdtree?
I don't know. I did check to make sure I didn't have a New Game Plus character save that ruined my new game save. So I do have a character that was good to go. He's like level 171.
Let me tell you.
I saw an article today or a tweet. saying that someone was stuck on a boss far longer than like millennia and stuff. And I'm like, I knew this shit was gonna happen, and that's not the shit.
I am wondering what level he was at when he got to that point. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. If anybody,
terrifies me.
Let me just tell you, I was out of town for the weekend, came back Sunday, and I had Sunday afternoon, and I had checked a few weeks ago. I was in Elden Ring in a new game plus right after getting through the castle, I forgot what it's called, the first castle area. So I was kind of I was right there at the edge of the lake. No.
Ready at all.
I'm there. I'm ready. I'm in.
You played all the way through Moog?
Robin literally sat there and walked me through, and I was at Moog, fighting Moog, and I beat Moog. She's
so
like
did you do a bunch of grinding in his area?
No, I'm level 170, dude. I'm good to go.
What the fuck? That's what level I am.
I played 120 hours of Elden Ring. Like,
no, but there's that area. Like when you get into the area where Moog is, there's that farm area where you can get level. Like,
those are great places to farm. But like you have to get there's a shortcut to getting to the point where you can access Erdtree.
I mean, there's all kinds of shortcuts.
But there's
Radon as well. But
you don't. I did not beat Radon. There is a yes. I did it all on Sunday with Robin sitting right next to me because she is on her 5th playthrough of the game right now.
But they said you have to beat Radon for the DLC.
Exactly. There is a secret shortcut path that you can take to get to the point where you can fight Moog.
Is the DLC out?
No, it's out on Friday.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, she walked me through the entire process. It's like the super, like talking to certain dudes, and then you have to invade 3 people's games and win, and then you go through all this junk, and then you get a secret item, and then you have to go to the fucking the 4 belfries and take a specific portal that takes you. It's
so did you not do Moog in your original playthrough?
No, I did.
I mean, he's optional. You don't have to.
No, I did. I did Moog the original playthrough, but I had started a new game plus, not knowing what it was going to do. But yeah, I went through all the steps, and I had saved right there in front of.
That's a lot of Elden Ring. How many hours have you been playing, or you just did the speedrun version?
She literally ran me through that section or through that little quest that I needed to do to take the shortcut. Did not fight Radon. I had to fight Moog. That was a bit of a bitch, and I had to summon people to help me do it. But that guy's a bitch anyways.
Yeah.
And it took me about 8 or 9 tries to actually beat him. But I did it.
Tries of hiding behind shit while other people killed him.
No.
So, well, like when you leveled up, when you killed Moog, like how many levels did you get? My God.
About 4. 4 or 5.
Oh, well, that's not that much. I just don't understand how you went from level whatever to 170 so quick.
I was at 160 when I booted up the game on Sunday. I don't remember. I mean, that's just.
Huh? You said you had just done the first Legacy dungeon. I thought. When the new game plus save you were on, you said it was after the castle, which is the first Legacy dungeon. You wouldn't have been 100.
Don't ask me the specifics. I'm just saying.
Oh, you're 171, but you're new game plus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That might not actually be that high for new game plus.
No, probably not.
I want to say I finished my new game plus run at like level 210, 220, something like that.
Okay.
But I've also seen a couple people talking about Erdtree and saying if you're at level like 120. You're probably good to go.
But who's played it? No one's played it.
I'm talking about there's people who are who are playing it, who aren't reviewing it, who can't review.
I didn't really look at reviews,
but people are asking
got, like,
questions.
Super good scores, right? Anybody watch any of those reviews or read any reviews? Why are the scores are the scores super good because it's Elden Ring, or are the scores super good because the DLC is actually like?
I mean, the little bit that I've read, and I did read a review. I forgot what site it was on. Because I'm guessing they posted it before the embargo was up or something. But the review that I read today was very positive in terms of it just being like, I mean,
it's getting tens and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the review even said they had a couple complaints and they still gave it like a 10. You know what I mean? Like
because it's Elden Ring.
Because I don't know.
I don't want to be stuck on a boss for like 3 days, which is.
I mean, that might just be very. I don't know.
That's why I don't play From Software DLC.
I don't know. I mean, who knows what his situation?
By the way, you finished 9 Souls along with
finish
Prince. all I've heard, all I know about that game is hard bosses. That's all. That's the only narrative. That's the only.
Right. Let me tell you, I finished 9 Souls, and I
tell me about one cool area or one cool ability.
I knocked the difficulty down to easy mode or story mode in the final boss because I was not prepared to sit there for another 5 hours fighting this boss. Let me tell you, that final boss is hard. It still took me about an hour of attempting to beat that boss on easy mode. That boss is a bitch. But yeah, I mean, the story in that game continues to be great all the way through to the end, and level design is great. It's got all the good Metroidvania hooks. It's just some of those bosses are nightmare fuel.
Okay.
So
Hollow Knight was a little bit like that. Hollow Knight had some nasty fucking bosses.
Yep, I still remember. What's the name of the final boss of Hollow Knight? Like
the Radiance.
Yeah, the Radiance. The Radiance was
like a tough fucking boss fight.
Yeah,
I didn't go through all of the DLC because I heard it was just like Elden Ring DLC. It was bosses that made Radiance seem like a joke, and I'm like, that's the same reason I don't play from DLC. I don't want that from Hollow Knight. I want to go through cool areas.
Yeah. Okay, I'm dying. Okay. All right. Let's move on. We've gotten. We need to talk Fantasy Critic because we haven't done that in a while. Sorry, you're choking.
Speaking of Fantasy Critic, I hate so much that I forgot to put the fucking trailer and the footage from the Yacht Club Presents because they showed Mina the Hollower, and holy shit, Nolan, you especially, it looks so fucking good. So good. Go watch the new Mina the Hollower footage trailer. There's a trailer and some footage that showed.
There's a butt coming.
It's looking so good.
But it's not this year.
So the update was very much don't worry, we're still working on it. You know, the coming months we're gonna be polishing it and like cleaning it up. But like it was very much to be patient with us.
Proof of life.
And they didn't even have a date. It just said coming soon. There's 0% chance it ships this year. And I'm definitely going to be using my super drop on it, unfortunately.
I mean, honestly, Mina felt like an afterthought comparison to the rest of the presentation because it was 95% about
Yacht Club Presents. This Yacht Club Presents, which they don't do very often, was announced and positioned as a 10th anniversary special for Shovel Knight, where they did announce new Shovel Knight stuff, including Shovel Knight DX, which you can play as like 20 different characters. It was a Shovel Knight thing, but they did do a good amount of like a good 5 minutes of that was on Mina, and it looked fucking rad. I still think obviously it's not going to be a dub for me this year, but I will absolutely be trying to draft it next year because I think it looks incredible. I think if it came out the same year as Silksong, which it might next year,
which
I think Silksong should be afraid because Mina looks so fucking good.
I'm going to have to go look this up because I really don't know much about it at all.
You wouldn't. You've probably seen screenshots.
I mean, but I also didn't really care for Shovel Knight, so
I mean, that's the big thing, right? That was the one. Yeah, but whatever. This is more Zelda.
I mean, what Shovel Knight did for 8-bit side scrollers, like Mina looks to be doing for Game Boy Color games.
Yeah,
specifically
it
Zelda.
Like,
specifically
like
Zelda.
Link's Awakening. It looks like Link's Awakening on the Game Boy.
Imagine Link's Awakening where you didn't have to go into your menu to put on your Rock's Feather every time you wanted to jump, and actually like have a game with brilliant movement. Because look at some footage, it looks crazy, and the variety, it just looks insane. Anyways, the reason it's Fantasy Critic worthy is because that was the one thing that was counterpicked on my list. Fucking Carlos, he sniped me again, man. I thought I could get away with that. I thought no one would really care about Mina because when that game drops, it's gonna score well, I promise. By the way, he did it. He just said that ain't coming out, and he was right. So now I'm gonna have to like buy the super drop. So we have to buy it and use it before the end of June. But once you do that, you just get with your league manager and they can do it right away. The super drop is the one thing you don't have to wait till the end of the week for. So if you're trying to free up space to like bid on some other shit, just get with your league manager. They do it, but it costs $40. Oh, and we need to clarify because there's still some confusion.
And again, right, we're speaking directly to people who are in our community who are playing Fantasy Critic this year.
Speaking everything, and maybe someone can clip this out so we can post it in the Fantasy Critic channel later for anyone not watching. So it's $40, and you have to buy it and use it before the end of June. And you can drop anything on your list, even your counter picks. Now, the thing with counter picks is we don't allow mid-year counter picks. And when you drop that counter pick, that space is going to be empty. The league actually defaults that to like a -15, I believe. We very early on, we talked about changing that to a -7. And basically what it's doing is, so the idea is to free up a really bad counter pick. But it basically replaces it with like a 77, which is actually pretty not bad for a counter pick. The reason we did that is because you weren't able to pick up any more counter picks, and we didn't want, if everyone could just get rid of all their negative points, then everyone would be. We wanted it to be like a tough choice. Like, oh, do I want to drop my counter pick, or do I want to drop this game that came out that maybe got like a 78 and maybe I can do better, that sort of thing. And I still think we found a good balance to where that is still compelling, right? Like, I'm not dropping one of my counter picks, even though one of them's not out. I'm dropping a game that is going to be a no ship with Mina the Hollower, right? So you can drop anything. Just know that when you drop a regular game, you can replace it with something that might do well. Counter pick, you're basically replacing with a 77. Which is still good, because some people are, like last year, the people who were towards the bottom are the ones who got fucked really hard on counter picks.
But real quick, just to clarify, because the way you just said it, again, I think is where the source of some of the confusion comes from. You said you can drop anything, even counter picks, but you still cannot drop something that was counter picked by somebody else.
A super drop.
That's what I mean. You can with a super drop?
You could drop anything with the super drop.
Yes.
So Chris Davis could buy a super drop and drop Metroid Prime 4, even though it's counterpicked.
Yes, but he only has one,
Right.
So he can't drop.
See, that's what I'm
Donkey
saying.
Kong
We were having this conversation in Discord earlier, and you kept saying it over and over again, and that is the exact opposite of what I thought you were trying to say. But whatever.
It's hard to like specify if I'm talking about a game that was counterpicked from another person or my counterpick on someone else.
I mean, I kept framing it. I was like, I know all this stuff. I know you can drop counterpicks. I'm specifically asking if somebody has counterpicked one of my games, can I super drop that game? And I thought the answer was no.
Even if the game is out and has review scores, you can still drop it. But you have to buy it for $40, and you have to do it before the end of June.
Okay, I know all that. I mean, okay.
And then the -7 thing, which is probably going to have to be like adjusted at the end of the year by the league manager, or it's going to have to be something that, I mean, obviously anybody who drops a counter pick is going to have that spot empty for the rest of the year. So we'll know how to adjust the scores at the end of the year. But if anybody has any questions, you could ask me. But that's kind of the long and short of it. It can be done anytime. It's going to cost you $40. You got to be done by the end of the month. You can super drop anything, but a counter pick is a penalty.
So,
the one other thing is, and I want to be clear, if Carlos counterpicked my Mina the Hollower, right? And I'm going to super drop it. It's going to open up that spot for me but his counterpick remains, which means if Mina the Hollower does come out in like December and scores like a fucking 89, he still loses 19 points, even though it's not on my list anymore.
Damn.
Yeah. So I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, in theory, someone could still, Mina the Hollower could get announced for this year. It becomes biddable again. And let me tell you, it'd be a good pickup if it gets a date. But I ain't playing with it. I mean, based on what I know now, I'm happy to super drop it. I think there's no way it comes out this year.
Okay, so
yeah.
What's up, Chris Davis?
Can I get clarification on the super drop then, as far as counter picks go? If I chose to drop a game on my list that I counterpicked, like for example, I counterpicked Stellar Blade. If I chose to use a super drop on that also means that slot would free up, but I would not be required to do another counterpick.
Correct. You would just another counterpick.
It would just convert that.
We don't allow mid-year counterpicks.
Yeah, it would convert that negative 18. It would convert that negative like 18 or whatever points it was that you have now to a
12.
-7. Is it 12?
Yeah.
Okay,
so that's the thing, right? Is like is the counterpick worth 4 points to you, right? So like it's kind of the thing is you have stuff that's probably more valuable on your main list than your counterpicks. I mean, it's hard, right? Like the idea was for it to be difficult. The thing is, you also have no rest for the wicked, which kind of fucks you.
I'm fucked. So
you're in bad shape, Chris Davis. I'm going to be
Yeah.
real. I don't think you're winning this. I think you're fighting to not be last place. Which,
Well, see, here's the thing: if we follow the rules of Fantasy Critic, in which the loser has to play the worst game on their list, like I don't have any bad games on my list, so.
Well, if none of your games come out, are any of them bad? I mean, let's be real.
I mean, let's be real. I still haven't played Redfall from last year. Wait, I didn't lose last year, did I?
You didn't lose last year. Yeah.
Oh, that's why. Oh man, I thought
Carlos
I just
did, and he played.
I thought I caught myself in a.
No, it was Carlos, and he played something bad. And I don't know.
I'll look it up real quick.
Okay,
but he's in good shape this year. You know what? Because he's confirmed now. It's confirmed. He got 2 zeros for his counter picks because he countered Mina and he countered Donkey Kong. So he's in good shape. He just got to make sure that he gets some good stuff because he still has a lot of money too, which means he probably doesn't need to buy the super drop.
He had to play. He had to play Exoprimal. That's what it was.
That's right.
Oh, that's right. Exoprimal.
That's right.
My counter pick that made me points last year. Damn it! I need another one of those. Let's hope Space Marine's bad.
Okay, we need to get to the 4-player minute. So in the interest of moving along here, Fantasy Critic wise, there's not a lot to update as far as like there's a couple things. Carlos did pick up a game because the game Conscript, which is that World War I based survival horror game, which I'm actually very excited for, got a release date of July 19th or something like that. So he bid on that. So that is on Carlos's list. And other than that, I imagine next week will be pretty heavy as far as updates go because of the Nintendo Direct.
I don't think anyone's going to let Mario and Zelda slide.
Yeah, that ain't flying.
I got to be honest with you. I put in $1 bids. Obviously, I'm not going to get those games, but I ain't going to let y'all wait on them, motherfuckers.
I don't think anybody was going to.
No waiting weeks for these games.
It's going to be interesting. Next week we'll have a lot of updates in terms. We'll see where they land on people's lists next week.
There was other stuff in the Nintendo Direct that looked pretty tasty.
Yeah,
to be honest.
absolutely.
So one thing about this year is there's plenty of shit out there to fill up y'all's lists. I don't think anyone needs to worry about it. So
yeah.
So we'll return and talk more about Fantasy Critic next week. But now, in the interest of wrapping this show up, let's go ahead and do our 4-player minute. So I'm going to hand it over to Brad to start us off.
And I got a 4-player minute, and it's something that it's something that maybe is okay. Let me explain.
Words.
Y'all know how I feel about voice acting, right? I hate when a company like Nintendo that can certainly afford voice acting doesn't do a lot of voice acting, especially has become an issue. Because I like to play games with Henry, and he's just starting to read, and he's not great at it. But like the new Paper Mario's out, and he'd probably really like that because he likes Mario, but he can't read any of that shit. And it's just, come on, Nintendo. Anyways, I'm 60 plus 5+ hours into Ayuden Chronicles, 100 Heroes, and y'all know I've been enjoying that game. And that's a game that's fully voice acted, not just fully voice acted, but like Suikoden, you recruit a bunch of characters. And in this game, you instead of 108, you can recruit up to 120 characters. Here, and my 4-player minute is about this, not just a shout out, because I talked a little bit about it on the past, where you bring characters into like story sequences, and some of the characters that are completely optional, that are not main story characters, will occasionally have voiced lines to chime in. And I was so impressed by that. Well, I unlocked the theater mode. And the theater mode is this little mini game tied to a side optional character. You recruit that character, he opens up theater back at your town. And you unlock plays, you buy them, you get them from different places. You unlock plays for this theater, and they're little short plays. I have a couple of them. I think there's 5 total in the game. And I did a little math here, because here's what's crazy. Between these 5 plays, there are 28 parts. 28 parts between all the plays, because each play has a few parts that you get to choose, which means, and each one of those parts can be played by any of the recruitable 120 characters, and all of the lines are fully voiced. So between these 5 plays, there are 3,360 recorded parts for these plays. Now, the plays might just be like a few lines per character, but you can have any combination. The narrator, so like one of them's Little Red Riding Hood. Any one of those 120 characters could play the wolf, could play the grandma, could play the narrator for the play. any combination of 120 characters. So they recorded 3,360 voiced parts for this tiny little optional mode. Now, if you were to sit down and like probably watch all 5 plays, it would probably take half an hour. If you were to just pick, 5 characters or whatever for each play and watch it, and like, that's kind of funny. But the fact that they recorded over 3,000 parts for this little side optional mode tied to an optional character is crazy, because each of the characters, they have different performances. Some of these characters in your army, they're not good actors. So their performance will be like really bad and awkward, like they don't want to be there. Some people are like overacting. Some people are like throwing in ad-lib lines. So there's unique writing and performances for certain characters. And like you're seeing so much personality from like different combinations of like setting up these plays. Like in Little Red Riding Hood, for example, I have a character who's like an old lady, but she has a power. She's like a kung fu fighter. She can transform into a young, powerful kung fu fighter lady in battle. It's like our battle mechanic. She can transform. You put her in the role of the wolf in the Red Riding Hood play, she even transforms into her young version of herself when she's the wolf. While when she's the granny, the fake wolf, she's the granny version of the character. They went all out, recorded so many lines for this tiny little mode, and it's a tiny little Kickstarter JRPG, and it's so impressive. And most people, they don't give a shit. They're probably not even gonna see it. Maybe they'll watch these plays once if they even find all 5 plays. But the fact that they went so all out for the voice acting and unique writing and these performances, it's hilarious. It's so funny, especially because that recruitable character that runs the playhouse, he even gives little blurbs on like how they are as actors. And he'll be like, oh, this character, sometimes I feel like he adds in a little bit of his modern flair in some of these plays, or like this dude's like totally going to overact, or like this young lady, she's actually pretty good at playing both male and female roles. Like there's these little blurbs on all 120 characters, and it's such a brilliant little thing.
Above and beyond.
And such a cool game, but like, a game that's janky and old in some ways, but like this mode, it blows me away. It blows me away that they went so all out. And it's funny and charming and absolutely, absolutely wonderful. And I know I was a little long, but shout out to that mode. I feel like no one else is going to do that. I posted about it on Reset Era because I was so blown away, and everyone's like, yeah, it's cool, but no one, I feel like this thing was made for me, and it's wonderful. So,
sometimes it's nice to know there are things out there that feel like they're made for you.
Yeah.
And only you.
And then, so fuck you, Nintendo. Fuck you.
There we go. That right. That's the cusp of it all. Is fuck you, Nintendo. All right, Chris Davis, you're up.
Okay. All right. Honestly, like the Nintendo Direct was kind of going to be my 4-player minute, but yeah, we already went through that, so not much to really bring up.
Well, you thought
there.
we weren't going to recap the whole thing?
Yeah, it was
You're nuts.
Well, I thought we would just hit like the big 3 and not even like go into the rest of it.
You listened to our podcast before?
No, I don't listen to our podcast because fuck that shit.
You listen to it every week. You're listening to it right now.
I experience the podcast. I don't need to relive it. So, actually, no, that's a fucking lie. I listen to my stuff sometimes. No, I don't know. I don't have that much this week. Like I'm going through my sweat really is Rise of the Ronin. Man, I was enjoying myself playing this game. I got to the Edo map and I was like, okay, they're locking me into this. Maybe I'm near like the end game. Like maybe I'm near like maybe the halfway point at the maximum, but like maybe I'm really close. Like maybe I'm done in this game. I can move on to the next thing, get back to
Bitch, you crazy. What are you?
And then I complete this really hard boss fight, and the trophy pops up, completed chapter 1. Are you fucking kidding me? Video game? What?
Yeah. I don't know what.
And then when Brad just said that like there was a third map too, like I was like, oh motherfucker, this is a 100-hour game. I'm not even
to video games,
credits.
dude.
Not 100 hours. I mean, if you do the math, you finish one of the maps at 20 hours. It's a 60-hour game. You're fine.
Yeah, but Edo looks bigger, and I imagine like the third map is probably even bigger than that. And I'm like,
I feel like there's no way you're not going to get burned out on the open world 100%ing by the end of that game. You'll be fine.
I guess, yeah.
It is a game, though. I want to say
the only person that's going to make it a 100-hour game is you.
Like, you look at user reviews for this game and just like user impressions. Everyone critical. I feel like it's easy for this game to score the way it did, given that it's like, come on, this is just a checklist game. It's not doing anything new. But like people who play this game, there's like fans of this game, which is crazy. It's also their fastest selling. I think Team Ninja is like fastest selling game ever. Or something.
I think it's like their best selling game since Ninja Gaiden Black.
But yeah, still.
I mean, even that didn't sell that well compared to the original Ninja Gaiden. So yeah, it's been a very long time since they've had like a mega multi-million hit. So I don't know. I'm really enjoying this game. Nick, I'm sorry, but it may be a while before I get it back to you. Although, like, you're going to have your plate full.
Let me tell you.
I don't think Nick's clamoring
to get the game back. I'm not clamoring. I am so overwhelmed. But that's a hell of my own making, too, because there's a lot of things that I want to be playing right now that aren't even current games, and I'm kind of giving myself time to indulge those desires as well. So, yeah. Take all the time you need.
I really would encourage you to take the weekend or, like, just a couple hours this weekend to finish the Night Springs content. Because, like, it's fun content, but it's remarkably short. Like, you will blaze through that stuff and have a good time.
That right there is the best argument you could have possibly made for me actually playing it this weekend, is that it's remarkably short.
And again, you need zero context for the rest of Alan Wake 2 and 1 for this game. Okay.
I mean, not that I don't already have that. I do love me some Alan Wake.
Me too. Yeah, absolutely. But,
cool.
Yeah, that's it. Short and sweet.
Very nice. Nolan?
Yeah, my 4-player minute starts now. Definitely hyped for Nintendo. Mainly just what we saw of Zelda. That game looks like it's going to be fun. I know it's not going to be the most intense, but it's definitely going to be enjoyable. We'll see what happens in Fantasy Critic. My sweat, I have one this week. Man, I really like Metal Gear Solid 3. It is one of my favorite in the franchise.
Indulge?
Yeah. In the collector's edition is what I'm talking about, because it's fucking sold out everywhere. I can't get it every time it gets posted online. It's like immediately sold out. And that I really fucking like that diorama of Naked Snake under the tree as soon as he drops in.
The full-on terrarium, yeah.
Yeah, like it literally is a terrarium, and it has like his little satchel thing hanging from the fucking tree. It's fucking.
Do you have any like alert set up for it, or
a couple? But like it's never in time.
I mean, it hasn't gotten a date yet, so I feel like when it finally does get a date, maybe they'll do another round of.
We'll see.
I got it. I did.
You dirty bitch.
Yeah.
I just.
if you were a real friend.
No.
Wait. Weren't you like?
I know. That's why he's penny pinching now.
Yeah. What the fuck?
This motherfucker.
So this tough this year I can only afford 3 video.
This is the fourth release of the game officially.
Snake Eater, Subsistence, HD Remaster, and Master Collection. Yeah.
And Master Collection. So this will be the Well, this will be the fifth then.
Yeah,
the
fifth.
Delta. Yeah. Don't get me wrong.
Wait, what is this edition
four
called?
times already.
I'm trying to find it.
Metal Gear Solid
Collector's
Delta
Edition?
Collector's Edition.
Yeah, Collector's Edition. I'll find it. I'll link it to you.
I'm sure you'll have other opportunities. I don't think that edition is.
Yeah, I know. And it's just one of those things where I've kind of told myself I'm not buying collector's editions anymore, but
me too.
This is a different story.
Sometimes one comes along where it's just like, okay, this is the exception.
Yeah.
I thought about the Alan Wake 2 thing, but I was because it has the lamp thing, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna resist. But I know what you mean. I sympathize.
I don't think the collector's edition for Alan Wake 2 comes with the game. Like, does it?
Also, those are the worst. Those are the worst fucking things.
Yeah.
Honestly, Nolan, though, I feel like this is one that I would wait to see, like, the quality control on this before
that is true too. That is a good
maybe
point,
buy it
Brad,
after
because they
the
always
fact.
show the nice model,
Yeah.
and then people start getting them shipped and they look like dog shit. That does happen from time to
Yeah,
time.
it absolutely
Hey,
could
maybe then I'll get into painting minis and I'll just repaint them. But then the other thing, I kind of briefly brought it up a while back. You know, in the past couple of years, I've gotten a little bit back into Pokemon. I gave it up for a long time, but it really started with in Prince, if he's still around, is where when the DLC, the Blueberry Academy DLC for Scarlet Violet, they released essentially every starter Pokemon that's been in any game was available in that. And so I started shiny hunting them, and I got a shiny living dex of all of the starter Pokemon from every game. That's 81, by the way, because it's one of each. So it means I had to catch them 7 times over. And I was like, man, that's pretty good. What if I were to just keep going with a shiny living dex? And it's a fucking insane concept, and anybody who is familiar with it knows it's fucking insane. But I started doing that because I'm fucking stupid, and I don't know. I'm a little over 35% of the way.
Wait, what percent? You said
35.
35%. That's.
I mean, Nick, there's over 1,000 Pokemon.
I know. I mean, that's a lot. 35%. You just said it's insane, and you're already 35% in. That's a significant
chunk. Yesterday.
Over 350 Pokemon.
I started it months ago. And so I don't know why, and I don't know how long until I give up on it. And that being said, I mean, there are definitely some Pokemon that it's like literally like Victini that's never had a shiny released. So obviously you can't get it. And there's some that have been like dumb, like, oh, they only released them via like a download thing in like one place. So obviously I know I'm not going to get every single one, but we'll see how far I go along with it. I'm still going as of now.
Yeah.
So I'm getting one here and there. But yeah.
Cool. Well, good luck and Godspeed on that.
Thank you.
All right. So I guess for mine, I will say I was going to talk a little about Destiny just because Crispy got me excited about the prospect of trying Destiny 2 last week, and I didn't realize at the time that I had forgotten that you can just download if you have PlayStation Plus, you can just download the base game, which has the first 2 expansions already kind of attached to it. So I was like, why not? There's nothing stopping me. I'll download it and I'll play it. So I streamed that last night and got through this. Basically, spent the entire time getting through the tutorial session, which was fun. It was a lot of fun. And it's one of those things where I intend to play a little bit more and see where good, because I would love to get to the point where I can play through the final shape, because it sounds really exciting. And I do like Bungie games, and I feel like it's been so long since I've really played an honest to God Bungie game. In fact, I guess that would be Halo 3 was maybe the last Bungie game that I played. So I'm gonna kind of keep going with that. Yeah, I'm gonna keep kind of going. Right. I mean, I played the demo or alpha beta or whatever for Destiny 1 a little bit. I mean, what else have they done? I mean, after Halo 3. Oh, sorry. I guess Halo ODST.
Bungie. Never mind.
Yeah, whatever. It was an old Halo game.
I thought they did Reach too.
Okay, maybe it was. I don't remember the timeline for when everything released.
Reach and ODST were Bungie, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I guess Halo Reach would technically be the last Bungie game that I played, but still, either way, it's been a very long time. So having a good time with that. I played a little bit last night. Crispy popped into my fucking game and found me last night, so he was flying around on his cool little Silver Surfer board and making me jealous.
And doing kickflips.
Yeah, doing kickflips. It was cool. I had a lot of fun last night, so I'm gonna keep going with that and see if I can. I mean, it's not one of those things where I'm gonna be playing it constantly. It's just I'm gonna be kind of creeping through it. But I had a good time. But I guess the thing I really wanted my sweat right now is after this Nintendo Direct, I realized just how fucked I am in September when there's just an absolute onslaught of games that I really, really, really want to play. And there's nothing, like, I'm talking Star Wars Outlaws comes out at the very end of August, and that's my most anticipated game of the year. So I'm obviously going to be playing a shit ton of that. And then starting on September 6th or 5th, maybe, we get Stalker 2, which is maybe my second most anticipated game of the year, followed by Astrobot, followed by Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. Now we have this new Zelda game dropping right in the middle of all that. It's just insanity. And I'm sure at least one of those might slip a little bit. I don't know. I hope so, because that's just unsustainable. But I decided I have the vacation time. I'm going to take that whole week off. I'm just going to take the week off, and I'm just going to play video games. I'm going to be bouncing between all these fucking things. I'm going to be playing a bunch of Astrobot. It's going to be great. I'm both sweating that and just really excited at the prospect of having all these just sweet, exciting games at my fingertips for a week. So that's kind of exciting.
Man, I was looking at the Wikipedia page for the 2024 releases. Echoes of Wisdom comes out September 26th. The day before
No. Echoes of Wisdom comes out on September 6th, I think.
I mean, then Wikipedia needs to update. But I was going to say, like, if that's true, then one of the low-key, like, probably going to be garbage remakes, no offense, but, like, the remake of Lollipop Chainsaw comes up the day before. So that is like going to sell 12 copies.
Is it the 26th? Okay, if it is in fact the 26th, that helps me dramatically. Because I thought it was the 6th, which would be right in the middle of that week. But that week is already chaos. So for the 26th, that's fantastic.
Care about how you're planning out all your too much gaming time, Nick.
Hey, this is my 4-player, man. You fuck off.
I know, but you're like,
I'm only going to be able to play 14 games, and I want to play 15.
I'm sweating balls because, I'm still trying to play catch up from 2023.
Look, as long as you don't play Baldur's Gate, you'll be able to get through all these games. If you play Baldur's Gate, you're not going to be able to play any more games for the rest of the year.
I'm going to play fucking Baldur's Gate 3. In fact, I might play some this weekend.
You might as well just throw that new Zelda game in the trash if you start Baldur's Gate 3. That's just those are how choices work.
Oh, real quick, the clarification about the Alan Wake 2 collector's edition thing, it does come with the game. What I read was that it does come with Alan Wake Remastered, but as a download code.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I was about to say, because there should the concept of a collector's edition that doesn't include the actual game, I can't even believe that's the thing that exists, but it does.
It's happening way too fucking often.
It's happening way too frequently. But anyways, guys, I think that's going to do it for our show tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening out there in the world. You can, of course, find us on all of our shows, all of our episodes on 4playernetwork.com. But more importantly, you can join us in our Discord at discord.gg/4player. We'd love to have you in there. Stop in, say hello, introduce yourself in the introductions channel. Let us know what you're playing. We'd love to hear from you guys. Yeah. I don't know. It's been a crazy week.
Don't forget the 360 Marketplace shuts down at the end of July.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, what Brad said. We'll see you guys next Tuesday for another episode. In the meantime, guys, be good to each other, play video games, and good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I've been looking at my 360 library because the kids have been playing a lot of Connect. And, man, there's some good games on there. Chris Davis, you own a copy of Renegade Ops, surely.
Yes.
Okay.
I remember buying that.
That's just one of those games that's just going to go away because you can't even play that one on the Xbox One.
There's a lot of backwards, there's a lot of non-backwards compatible games that you need to grab now if you want to grab them.
Renegade Ops.
I'm just going to choose to remain ignorant and blissful. You can't miss something if you don't know it's gone.
And I think they're going to do some sales.
Oh yeah, no, they're doing sales right now. There's just going to be more heavy sales pretty soon.
Oh man, I have such fond memories of the 360. That really was the Xbox's generation, man. I got so many games off Xbox Live Arcade. Oh my god!
And then Don Matrick took over. Just fucked everything.
Wow.
I have like my Xbox 360 is so slow too. and it's because I downloaded so many Xbox Live indie games to that fucking thing, and it just fucked like the library. I mean, it just everything is just so fucking slow.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, they only dedicated like what was it, 512 megs for RAM? Like something
Some of
like
my
that?
favorite streaming memories was playing Xbox Live indie games.
No, Luca, no.
Had a lot of good ones.
Yeah, like there was supposed to be a sale that's supposed to go live soon. Like there were games that were like down to like 90-95% off.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure to get some Connect games as well. See, because I had downloaded a lot of demos, and I wanted to make sure I actually had full versions of games. Because that was the thing; everything had demos back then. They would let you play for like some of them were really long, and even the arcade games you'd be able to play. I mean, it was crazy that era where just everything had a demo. I miss it so much.
Yeah, like looking at Cheap Bass Gamers Twitter here, like Burnout Crash, 50 cents. Like
yeah, but that game.
I mean, yeah, but like there's games that just like they never got ports to anything else. Like this is your last chance to grab them.
It's brutal.
Yeah, Black is $1. Dead Island 75 cents. Death Spank $1.49.
Wait, but is that right now, or is that's the sale coming up?
This is right now.
But like, I think a lot of stuff. There's gonna be another sale soon that's even lower or a lot more stuff or something to that effect.
The remake of Strider is $1.49. Street Fighter,
crazy.
Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting for $1. The HD remix of that is $1.50. $2 for the DMC HD collection. Dark Stalker's Resurrection for $1.50. Dead Rising 2 Off the Record, which I recently played, $2.
Oh, I'm gonna see I have not seen the thumbs on these trailers.
All right, gentlemen, I'm tired. I gotta go. I'll see y'all
Switch.
later.
Bye,
everybody. Love you guys.
Okay.
Everyone seems to be pretty happy about Metroid's trailer. I mean, they can't all be like me, sad, angry people. Let's see the Zelda trailer.
You will get what you want for Metroid probably
I know.
later this year.
I mean, look, I'm just calling out a trailer that I thought was mid. That's all. People seem pretty happy about Zelda.
Yeah.
The Dimpa Man. Hell yeah.
God, like I said,
I think Donkey Kong Country Returns HD was really kind of a wet fart. I mean, I don't know. I was already ported once before.
Yeah. But like this is now the quote unquote definitive edition with
David brought up a good point. He said that like that game never had great controls because of the way you had to play it. First was the Wii and then it was the 3DS. This will be the first version that actually controls well. Brothership. This is just a stupid name. Mario and Luigi Brothership because they're on a ship. Okay.
Oh, okay. Now I get it. All right.
Brothership.
Like I thought that was a really weird subtitle, but okay, that makes sense.
Oh, Mina the Hollower. These motherfuckers. They left.
Yeah, that game looks good.
It looks really good. Oh, can you play it? Here, let me drop the link.
I can play it. Give me a second.
Is anybody still watching?
Here, sure
open that shit up.
Yeah. Let me grab it.
Oh my god, I love the way this game looks so much. It's just goated. It's goated. I hate that it's not coming out this year. Not just for fantasy critic reasons. I want to play this game so badly. You pasted it in chat? I pasted it in chat.
Okay, 1 sec. Yeah, but 1 sec. I gotta share it with you real quick. Let's see. Share.
Oh, it even has damage numbers. All right. Play that shit. Oh, I love this. I mean, Shovel Knight is incredible, but man, I feel like this is like even making Shovel Knight look like a kid's game. There's just so much going on here.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a much more complex game than Shovel Knight. Oh, man. I mean, it's fucking Link's Awakening with a whip. Oh, different weapon types. Look at all this shit. I mean, this looks goated. Like, I'm trying to see like who plays this game and says this ain't a 12 out of 10.
Yeah,
it's goated. And I feel like, oh man, here skip it. Well, this guy skip ahead just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Past him.
It was a funny presentation. It looks difficult. I don't know. All right, crank this shit up. Can you make it louder at all? No, I can hear. I can hear fine. Never mind. Look at these parries. Look at that parry. Or shield parry or whatever. Oh my god. The movement looks so good. These bosses and shit.
I feel like there's something they're not telling us about this game that's going to be huge.
What I mean, everything I'm seeing seems huge. This shit looks so good.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about like there's a major gameplay element that they're just not telling us. Like, what if like there's a kind of a zoom in and you're looking at a 3D environment or something like that?
Oh well, they teased Shovel Knight 3D at the end of. Maybe that's newsworthy, but they teased Shovel Knight 3D at the end of Yacht Club Presents.
They did, yeah. Like, but that was just such a low key thing at the very end of their presentation. We know it's happening, but
they showed the logo with 3D assets, and they're like, we can't wait to show you Shovel Knight entering a new dimension or whatever. And like, okay, we know what you're saying.
Like, it's going to be Shovel Knight 64. We know that.
I already want this plush. When can I buy this plush?
That's great. Yeah.
This looks so good. It looks so good.
But yeah.
Wait. Click back. Look at that text. It says, Yacht Club Games thanks you for your continued patience and support. That is not what you say when your game is coming out in the second half of the year.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Continue.
I mean,
coming soon. Yeah.
I'm thinking the soonest we see it is end of next year.
I don't know. I think this could be out a year from now.
I think, I'd be very excited, but take your time. It's okay. I'm still going to try to draft it next year. I don't care.
Yeah.
I dare you to counterpick me next year, Carlos.
Did you see, let me close this real quick. Did you see the Bloodstained update that hit today?
Well, I've actually known via previous leaks that Bloodstained 2 was actually going to be a thing eventually.
Yeah. But to get that official confirmation that it's coming.
Yeah, nice. I mean, I'm just discouraged because they take forever to make anything. It took them so long to put out all this bonus content, and honestly, it's kind of mid.
But they promised a lot of content. So
but it just means they don't have some engine that can churn out games. I mean, I feel like it's gonna be forever before we even see Bloodstained. But I think they did say it's gonna be a new art style, which is very promising because it needs to have a new art style.
Yeah.
Badly.
Well, I mean, the other thing we have to consider is another reason why this new game may be taking a while is that wasn't the original game made on Unity?
I don't know.
Because if it was, I'm just saying they're going to want to move to something else.
Yeah, which is what I'm worried about with Silksong. I really am. But oh well.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It's probably why. Whatever. Goodbye.
Okay, goodbye. Have a good night. All right, gang. I'm out. I'm not going to let the YouTube algorithm choose the exact wrong thumbnail again. So you just have to deal with the fact that I'm giving Tom attention and he's a good boy and I really like him. and he's got a string that is his best friend right now, and/or enemy. I can't tell. One of the two, probably both. But y'all have a pleasant evening. I need to go to bed. Even though I have tomorrow off, I need to go to bed. So, see y'all on Discord. Bye.